that's one game. What's been shocking is that this is 3 games. Like, it's not like they got beat once. It's like, okay, they'll bounce back. And I heard Dante on the airwaves saying before game 2, he's like, hey, I'm concerned. They lost game 1, and I heard Dante going into that. And Dante, you were concerned because based on what you saw, and you've been proven to be right.
I wish I wasn't right, but yes, it had nothing to do with specifically Makar being out or anything like that. It was more just, hey, these guys haven't really played that good of hockey since going back to game 2 of round 2. Game 3 they lose. Game 4 they're losing, not having a lead going into game or the third period. Third period, game 5 they win, but they had to come back from 3-0 miraculously, and then they lose game 1 as well. So it just was a trend of not good hockey in a row, and that concerned me.
It's been carrying on. So, Chad, everybody's after him. You got to blame somebody when you're mad. Is Jared Bednar to blame for this Avalanche collapse?
Well, it's always easier to remove the coach than it is to remove the roster. And, again, on paper, this should be as talented of a group as the Avalanche have ever had. When you're talking about the moves at the trade deadline to bring Kadri back, to bring in Nick Waugh, the way Netjes is playing, what Brock Nelson had proven to be in the regular season, although he's been a ghost for the most part now in the playoffs.
Yeah, he got that gold medal. And that was that.
When you combine that with McKinnon and Makar, and even though they didn't have a set-in-stone number 1 goaltender, the goaltender numbers for the Avalanche were good with both guys playing and amongst the best in the league when they were in there throughout the regular season. They should have everything needed, and they were deservedly tabbed the favorite to win the cup. I think that was accurate. It wasn't a misstep by odds makers. It wasn't a misstep by the betting public to say this is the best team. When you score the most goals in the regular season and allow the fewest, that's pretty good. Right, when you have the most regular, wins in regulation, when you're racking up a franchise record for points in a franchise that's been very successful, as we mentioned, over time in the regular season, there's nothing wrong with the talent. It is capable of winning the cup. I think we can all agree on that. That is a reasonable take. So what else are you going to change?
Well, and the visual matched it. When you watch the Avalanche, it matched all of those things. Deep roster, all this talent. It was your eyes. Throughout this year, you and I would do shows and pull up stats at that time and kind of laugh at how dominant the Avalanche were, but you didn't really need stats to understand how good they were and to predict they were going to go to the cup because it was right in front of you. So to that point, that's what I was kind of going through that with myself today. Okay, could you switch out Brent Burns and get somebody a little bit younger in there to play defense? Okay, maybe Malinsky needs a little. You're really nitpicking at the roster to try to find, okay, where can they get a lot better? So to that point, maybe the goaltending, but the goaltending was never a massive problem over time this season to where you look and you go, well, is this a John Fox, Gary Kubiak type situation where you've got the guy that just isn't going to get him over the hump? And to be honest, I don't know where I fall on that right now, but you look at the Golden Knights, they switched their coach with 8 games left in the year, and look at them go now.
And it's a guy nobody likes. Universally, everybody goes, oh, Torts, and rolls their eyes.
He's a crazy person.
But
the players is he? I say he's a crazy person being funny, but just he's a cowboy. Like he does. They didn't let the media in the locker room. They got fined. They lost a second round. Imagine being a head coach and within your second month on the job, you get a second round pick taken from you.
Not only that, I mean, he's technically on like an interim deal.
Yes, yeah,
and he got fined $100K,
and they lost a pick, and they're in position to go to the Stanley Cup. Is he like Sean Payton? Kind of like this guy is going to do what he wants. Might be difficult to deal with, but my God, the players just buy in to what he's saying.
I would suppose in some ways I would expand it. Like I would go to a far more extreme example. I would say like Buddy Ryan. I don't know. Yeah. Like that's what it seems like to me.
Didn't Buddy Ryan start fist fighting one of his coaches on the sidelines when he was with the Eagles, I believe?
It Kevin Gilbride?
I think it was Kevin Gilbride.
Was it Kevin Gilbride Buddy Ryan went after?
Yeah, it was the Eagles, right? When he was in Philly, they started fighting. But with Bednar, it's been 10 years. Everybody's mad at him. This is who everybody wants out today. Is it a Michael Malone situation? I don't think it's similar to Michael Malone, because I think Michael Malone was fired more for unprofessionalism with how him and Calvin Booth handled their inability to get along and to agree. And they were both let go, I think, because Josh Kroenke said, "You're acting like children. I can't do this anymore. We're now going to maybe miss another championship. Both of you get out." I don't sense Bednar is at odds with anybody in the building. And because of that, I don't think it's as easy for the Kroenkes to let this guy go.
Correct. And Michael Malone, regardless of whether or not he was correct in his assessment and how he wanted to do things, that wasn't the path that the organization had decided upon. So you can bash Calvin Booth all you want. It was a plan that he had sold Stan and Josh on that they agreed with following. They thought it gave them the best chance. So once the ownership and Booth were on the same page and Malone didn't fall in line, he was, in effect, insubordinate in his job reporting up to those people in the organizational structure. So, like, you know what happens in that regard in any other company. The guy gets fired. It doesn't matter if he was right. The bosses told you to do something different. So you get fired. In the case with Booth, the plan only turned out to not work, but the differences between he and Malone also would have divided the players in such a way if you would have kept one over the other, because the players were either on one side or the other. It was like, I'm a Malone guy that plays, or I'm a Booth guy that should be playing and Malone isn't playing me. So you would have created a further rift there between the players in the locker room, and not only in an understanding of where do I land. If you would have chosen one of the guys, those two groups would have been separated further. So your only chance to unite those groups was to fire both of them. So it's very different in that regard, but I think it's very much the same in regard to the fact that if you look at having the roster the Nuggets have had really since the bubble in 2020, and what the Avalanche have had for the better part of Bednar's tenure here, that yes, they've each won a championship, but I think everyone in this town, probably everyone working in the C-suite of KSE in those offices, looks at it and goes, we should have won more. Yeah. We should have won more. And that applies to both of those teams, and the coaches are going to be scapegoats for that.
Is Bednar's message stale?
Well, it didn't seem very stale when everybody said the Wild was the best team standing in front of them the rest of the way, and they won in 5 games. And they managed to make any adjustments and handle that pretty easily. So the message didn't seem stale. I don't know if it's the coaching message for me as much as it might be taking, again, that deeper look at the style of play. And can we play this wide-open, freewheeling offense, beautiful style of hockey that everybody loves to watch, and still be as effective as we should be with the talent on our roster in the postseason? Because it seems like every year – one of the matchups has an answer to turn the faucet off, and then there's no alternative. There's no plan B.
And it's happening with different teams, different levels of teams, different styles of teams. It keeps happening to the Avalanche. We will continue to react to the Avalanche going down 0-3 to the Golden Knights. Some news came out about the Nuggets yesterday. It's news that would normally excite somebody. But why are we ready to tear everything down with the Nuggets based on what we heard yesterday? We'll get into that next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
When you care about something, you give it your all. Servicemen and women fought for our country. They lost their lives in the name of freedom for the Americans. Memorial Day is time to pause and give thanks for their sacrifice. My name is Jay Rickstrew for Alpine Bank, Member FDIC. What does Memorial Day mean to you? Flags will fly at half-staff, grave sites will be visited. Town parades, moments of silence, and gatherings are some of the ways our community will remember their selfless, courageous men and women. Alpine Bank joins you in honoring those who made this ultimate sacrifice and commitment to America. We honor their families and loved ones. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg that the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you're feeling exhausted with no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. Book a free testosterone test at Low T Center and see if you qualify for TRT, customized to you. Choose self-pay or insurance, and even have your treatment shipped to your door. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up. Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
What if you had the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
They'll tell you marketing is complicated, that you need a dozen platforms, 100 dashboards, and a prayer. Forget that. Your customers are right here, listening to this station. Heck, you are right now. Tonight they're streaming Denver's biggest games. Tomorrow they're locked into the most talked about podcasts on the planet. We put you in all of it. Radio, streaming, TV, audio, one team, clear data, real results. We've been growing businesses like yours for years. Visit DenverSports.com and click the Advertise with Us button. That's DenverSports.com. Let's get to work.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. General contractors, are you tired of working with 8 different subs for a single project? Homestrong is the answer. Their crews handle excavation, foundations, waterproofing, crawl spaces, and flat work. Visit buildhomestrong.com. You'll never go wrong with Homestrong.
Try Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lux boxes. Limited time at participating stores while supplies last. Prices vary. Freezes and specialty drinks not included. Tax extra.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
John Davis and Chad Andrus filling in for Zach and Phil on Memorial Day, but we still got Dante behind the glass. Chad came out kind of flying under the radar, especially here in Denver. Just people upset with the way the Avalanche look, and we're not happy with the way the Nuggets went out. But the All-NBA teams yesterday, Nikola Jokic, big shocker, first team All-NBA. Jamal Murray, though, third team All-NBA. He's with Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Johnson, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Duran. So prior to the year, it was, Nicole had never played with an all-star that was an all-star while they were teammates. I think DeAndre had made one, years ago. But Jamal Murray comes out this year, focused, has his best year as a pro, makes the all-star game, is now All-NBA. And at the conclusion of that year, the discussions are around, do they trade Jamal Murray? With a lot of people really in that camp, the Nuggets should trade Jamal Murray. From where you stand, factoring in reality, but should the Nuggets trade Jamal Murray?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't see a realistic path forward to contend for a championship by keeping him. Because, Dan likes to sit on here every week, and if you listen to the Dan Jacobs show on the weekend, he'll tell you, I'm the only one that holds these guys accountable for what they said, and they tend to misremember, right, when they say something and they were wrong, and then they try to walk it back. Well,
that's a good Dan.
Dan's the one who kept telling you over and over again that the Nuggets aren't tough enough, if they just need to play harder. They need to try harder. Well, it doesn't matter how hard Jamal Murray tries. Tell me how much more effort and how much more heart is going to change the results when Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards and Ayo Dosunmu pick him up full court and guard him for the length of the floor, and then the Nuggets don't get into their offense till 10 seconds left on the shot clock, and he ends up rushing a shot at the end of it and shoots 3 for 17. How is heart and grit and toughness going to change that?
Right.
It's not going to change that.
Especially at this point in his career. This is an established talent at this point.
And something that Zach has brought up several times on this program is part of the reason the Nuggets offense stalled out the way it did against Minnesota and sometimes stalls out in the postseason across the board, where you have everybody shooting worse than they did, is one, because of that factor right there. They get into their set later because of the ball pressure that's applied against them. They don't have as much time to cook and find the open spot. But the other reason is Jokic and Murray have to be on the floor for them to succeed. This is very much like our Avalanche conversation of they're playing one way. Jokic and Murray have to be on the floor and build everything off of that two-man game for the offense to work. Well, it takes a lot of energy to do that. And when they're both out there, a team like Minnesota, a smart playoff team, is going to put those guys in action on the ball, on the defensive end, every trip down the floor, always, every game. They're going to make them defend the whole game. So you're talking about an entire 48 minutes, Jokic and Murray are involved in every single play.
Offensively.
No, on both ends of the floor.
On both ends of the floor.
Because they're putting them in a pick-and-roll action. They're going straight at Jamal on a straight-line drive. He can't keep anybody in front of him. They go right past him to the hoop and score. Jokic isn't going to defend the rim, and he's got to make a choice. All right, am I going to try to defend this and risk picking up a foul and getting in foul trouble? Am I going to spend energy defending this, or am I just going to give up a layup when they blow by Jamal again?
Because it's so much energy on the offensive side of the ball as well that expending on the defensive side is a sunk cost.
You're making them do all the hard work on defense every trip down the floor, and then they're carrying all the weight every trip down the floor on the offensive end because of the style that you're playing. It's exhausting. And that's what leads to Jamal Murray shooting a 3 of 17. It's not that he doesn't get the same type of looks that he normally gets. It's that he's tired and they don't go in. It's why his three-point shooting drops from 43% to 35% or whatever it was, 32%, or less. I think it was actually less than that in the playoffs.
He was not scoring.
They're too tired. And that this isn't going to change. It's not a matchup dependent thing. It's not just, the Spurs and the Thunder are so much better than what the Nuggets were when they won. Like, every team knows this blueprint now, and every team has young athletes that can attack off the dribble. So that blueprint is not going to change when you get the Nuggets in the series. So what can you reasonably expect going forward, building around Jokic and Murray being on the floor when they have to be on the floor for you to have success, when other teams are just going to put them in every play for every minute they're on the floor? It's not a sustainable formula to try to win.
So, Chad, so you say they should trade Jamal Murray. And with that all makes sense, especially with what we see in the playoffs. Is it they need to trade Jamal Murray because Jamal can no longer be effective to help them win, or is it they have not done the right things at the other positions on this roster to where they're kind of left with no choice because trading Jamal Murray presents the best option to retool and create a roster that can make a deep run in the playoffs?
It's both, but in part because Jamal makes the most money outside of Jokic, so it's the only way to have an impact. Mm-hmm. He's coming off an all-star, third-team All-NBA season, so he has value that you can sell someone on. The other guys do not have that. They don't have the salary moving out, and they don't have the cachet of what you might get in return. And it's been determined you're not trading Jokic. It would be dumb to trade Jokic.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But when you go with the combination of Jokic and Murray, they're going to get targeted on defense all the time, and you can't have your two best players that you need on the floor being involved in every possession because they're not physically capable of spending that much energy to win 16 playoff games. And it's not a matchup dependent thing. It's not just the Wolves or it's not just the Thunder, because every team is going to do that to them. They have to be younger, more athletic, longer, quicker, and they have to be able to cut off drives, ball perimeter defense, so Jokic isn't always trying to make a decision. Do I defend this? Do I give a foul at the rim? Am I involved in this action every time down the floor? And they have to find offense outside of the two-man game on the other end. They cannot be so Jokic-Murray dependent. The easiest way to do that is remove Murray from the equation.
Maybe. They do got to get something for him. I think the main thing is you can't trade him just to trade him, meaning there's some names. You can't go get a different guard that also doesn't defend. You can't do it just for the sake of this is a new, fresh name, and everybody thinks we made a deal just to make a deal. The example I always give in it's coaching, don't fire Vance to hire Vic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
same guy.
Yeah, same guy. So if you're going to move Jamal, and we're going to continue to get into this throughout the show, it's got to make sense. And how you do it, that's people get paid more money than you and I, but I am interested to see kind of where that goes because something needs to change with the Denver Nuggets because, like you said, it's just not working. Within the Kroenke building, I don't think we expected the other team to look like the Denver Nuggets, but they do. Visually, what has been the most concerning thing that we have seen from the Colorado Avalanche, and do we think they could turn it around and at least make this a series? Chad and I get into that next.
Avalanche, Golden Knights. It's the Western Conference Final, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is all in. 1 hour before puck drop, we're live with full pregame coverage, keys to the game, bold predictions, and the intel you need. When the final horn sounds, we're not going anywhere. Instant post-game reaction. Every hit, every goal, every save. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Your roof's the single most important part of your house. Snow and high winds can damage your roof. Don't trust your roof to any fly-by-night roofing companies. Call the professionals at Golden Spike for a free roof inspection and tell them you heard about it on The Fan. They're a locally owned company and a Team Dave Logan member.
Call Golden Spike Roofing when your roof needs a fix. 303-942-1386. Golden Spike Roofing.
Here's something most window companies won't tell you. The window is only part of it. In Colorado, a well-built window can still fail if the installation isn't right. That's the part that determines what actually lasts. I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton because that's where the conversation starts. 50-plus years serving Denver, Colorado, and the Front Range. Right now, 25% off Infinity by Marvin Windows. Check them out at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Cheyenne Frontier Days. Born out of the American frontier, come salute our American heroes in the air, in the arena, and in the streets of Cheyenne this July. CFDrodeo.com. See you in Cheyenne.
I'm Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. A lot of new firms aren't even from Colorado, but we are. For 47 years, we've known Colorado law, we've fought for our neighbors, and we won for our community. If you've been injured, call 303 Good Law.
Are you an HVAC or mechanical contractor looking for qualified manpower you can rely on? Smart Local 9 sheet metal workers provide highly trained professionals ready to get the job done safely, efficiently, and with pride. Their workforce is trained through a 4-year apprenticeship program focused on HVAC systems, service, welding, drafting, safety, and emerging technologies. Need manpower for a large project or flexibility as workloads change? Smart Local 9 helps you stay competitive with access to a skilled, dependable workforce. Learn more at smw9.com.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a great new partner to Terry Wickstrom Outdoors, Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. If you want to secure your rest of life housing, maybe come up with some extra cash, or have a line of credit available to supplement your senior lifestyle, call my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 and ask about an FHA insured home equity conversion mortgage, or go to madrivermortgage.com, NMLS 1504779.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1877 Cars for Kids. KRS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
This song took over in 1999. Gonna get to the Avalanche dropping 0-3. It's John Davis and Chad Andrews sitting in for the fellas today. But is your child interested in picking up the game of football? Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan for our 3rd annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp Saturday, January 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Children aged 8 to 14 can enjoy hands-on coaching from former Denver Bronco players Mark Schlereth, Phillip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, as well as a staff of coaches from Denver South. All proceeds benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. For more information and to register your child, head to denversports.com/camp. Chad, we're going to get into the Avs real quick, but I think we did get a national champion this year, the DU Pioneers hockey. I don't think a lot of our listeners know you got to cover that game. Between DU and Wisconsin. So how cool was that to get to be there and witness that?
That was awesome, man. And the Frozen Four is a unique thing, man. And, I think Dante maybe experiences this a little bit with college baseball and some of the things that he's been around previously. Some of these sports that aren't headline major sports, national TV all season long, everybody knows all the names and the key players, but it has the niche fans. they go crazy, and the Frozen Four fans show up every year, no matter where it is. This year, it was the first time in Las Vegas, so it was very easy for everyone to make an excuse to go. But even when the teams aren't involved in it, you get their fan bases there. Right, so you get like Maine and Quinnipiac in Western Michigan, and teams that didn't make the Frozen Four, their fans still go because they're college hockey fans. So it was fantastic, right? Dan Jacobs and I went out there, got two of the schools that we obviously support and root for. He went to DU, is an alum, got to watch him win national championship number 11. My entire family went to Wisconsin. I've always supported Wisconsin athletics. I used to do the intermission reports and the coaches' interviews for DU on TV way back in the old Fox Sports Rocky Mountain days, right? So I've had some associations with that program and called a bunch of other sports over at DU. So getting those two in the championship game was fantastic. And then for Denver to really, at several points in the season, look like, are they even going to make the tournament and turn it around late in the season? The stories that they went through, I think it's like, 10 or 11 freshmen on the team, and then goaltender Johnny Hicks with that kind of a run coming in mid-season and then really going unbeaten the rest of the way, or lost one time in overtime the rest of the way. It was fantastic, and really it is the model sports franchise here in our town.
Yes, it is.
They are the ultimate winners.
They are the old, and in all of college sports, they're a blue blood. If you combine all the most successful any sport, DU's at the very, very top of what they've done.
Yeah,
in
they are.
sports.
They are. Alabama football. They are Duke basketball. Yeah, they are.
They sit
the
alone.
Kings.
And they sit alone.
All by themselves. They took care of that and made sure Michigan was not going to have a chance to catch up.
That was a good one. So with that, we thought we were going to maybe get another dual hockey. The Pioneers and Stanley Cup. It doesn't look like that. Chad, what's shocked me most about this, and we've talked a lot about it, you brought it up earlier, the wall in front of the net. It seems like Marty Netjes is outside of the club, and the bouncer's not letting him in. like this dude, he's changing his clothes, and they're still like, nope. And then they're opening the rope, and maybe other people, no Avalanche are getting in the club. But I have been stunned at how skilled this team is with the Avalanche. And not just McKinnon and not just Marty, down to Nicholas Waugh, who was having a great postseason, down to Arturi Lehkonen, who's been Mr. Big Shot for this team, that nobody can get in where they need to get in. You look at the goals last night. One was a shorthanded breakaway, kind of a defensive breakdown a little bit by the Golden Knights. The other one was Taves kind of flying down the ice and Landeskog putting it in. The Netjes Kadri goal was the only one that it's like that's how it should look all the time with this team, yet that's the one time this series it looked like that.
Yeah, it seems like VGK has figured it out. Teams in the past, including Vegas or Dallas, have figured it out that there are ways to stonewall the Avalanche and just stop all of the free skating, free passing, clean looks. It's almost like the Avalanche at their best look like you're watching the Harlem Globetrotters. Right, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. It's peak. Nuggets ball movement or Golden State Warriors ball movement. It's awesome to watch. It's the greatest show on turf. Whatever sports analogies you want to make, it's fantastic. But teams always seem to figure out in the playoffs like you're not going to do that. So it doesn't matter how much we have to sacrifice on our offensive end. We'll figure something out there by grinding and pushing and pulling and getting puck luck and a bounce here or a bounce there to get enough. But you're not going to have that free-flowing, beautiful game offense against us, and then we'll just see where the chips fall at the end. But the chips never fall their way when they can't do that.
No, they don't. Like Brock Nelson, who you described as a ghost in this postseason, he finally gets that rare look that they've had last night, and he's got all this real estate at crossbar. He hits the top of the net, and that's happened a few times with them. And I think what's happened is their timing has been so thrown off by everything else that's happening that when the open look happens, everything else has been thrown off so much that they're inaccurate on a goal that they should otherwise make because there's been no rhythm, and there's been no rhythm for like a week now with this team. That when the net, everybody's saying, "Oh, the net's open." Well, yeah, it's like if the guy's shooting open threes all game, he's gonna eventually start hitting them. But if you're hand in your face the whole game, when you finally get an open one, you might still miss because you might be shooting it a little bit more urgently. And it feels like everything's off because the Avalanche have not been able to establish timing. They've not been able to establish rhythm. And even when they are open, because of that, the shots are not going in as accurately as they should.
We've gone through the gamut of sports analogies here. It's like watching playoff baseball with just the monster lineup of super sluggers being shut down because of the placement of pitches. And, whoever it is, Greg Maddux is getting everybody on the handles or, right in on their hands, right? Then nobody can hit the sweet spot. Nobody can hit a clean line drive. Nobody can drive the ball. It's like watching the same thing in the hockey version of we're just off, that 1 or 2 inches, that fraction of a second, whatever the case may be. We are just off where we cannot get it to work. But what boggles my mind is, okay, that's the playoffs. You're playing good teams. You're playing teams that can game plan for you, that can make adjustments. That's what it is. That's why it's hard to win a championship. But how come those other teams can still score, but the Avalanche can't? Like that's what is troubling that I don't understand, is teams can go all in, put all their chips middle of the table and say, we're not going to let you do this, and offense will come one way or another. We'll figure it out. Well, we're just going to drag this game into the mud and figure out how to survive so you don't skate freely. But it always seems like they can figure out how to make something work. The Avalanche can't. And we've been watching this for 2.5 decades outside of one season. I
think Shea Theodore of Vegas got his stick on 7 shots in game 1. And then there was somebody else had like 3 and 4. And part of it to me is it's almost like they're playing that extra. We talk about timing. The Golden Knights are doing that extra half second of work that's just enough to cause enough disruption to keep the game going at the pace that they want it to go through. And when the Avalanche are scoring, it feels like they stumbled into it. And then once it happens, they don't walk away going, okay, we figured out what we're going to do here.
They score when the other team makes a mistake.
Exactly.
They don't score because they beat them.
It was 2 of the 3 goals last night were just straight up defensive, just clumsiness by Vegas Golden Knights. So, Chad, with that, Cale Makar was back. They still lost, but then they lost McKinnon. The injury, we feel so snake bit in Denver. We know what happened with the Broncos. We saw it with the Nuggets, and now the Avalanche. Of the 3 teams, which team was impacted the most at winning a championship by their injuries? Chad and I, we get into that next.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer?
Are you kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan's 3rd annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child ages 8 to 14 will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Phillip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at DenverSports.com/camp. That's DenverSports.com/camp.
Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
You're hearing this right now. So are your customers. That's radio. It still works. But your customers don't live in one place anymore. Tonight they're streaming Denver's biggest game on their TV. Tomorrow they're deep in the most popular podcast in the country. Next week, all 3, all over again. We build one campaign that reaches them everywhere. Radio, streaming TV, podcasts, all under one roof, all measured, all working together. That's not a pitch, that's a system. DenverSports.com. Let's build yours.
At some point, you stop calling it pain and start calling it just how I am now. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, shoulder, hips, and lower back. And now they're moving, sleeping, golfing, running without surgery or long recoveries. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. And now's the time, because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. So this isn't a I'll get around to it situation. Right now is the right time, and the first step doesn't cost you a thing. QC Kinetics, better starts here. Schedule your free consultation by calling 303-900-8986, 303-900-8986, with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs. It is QC Kinetics.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
June hits different at Coors Field. Don't miss the Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox coming to town for 2 great series. Baseball at altitude, summer nights, big moments. We're here for the climb. Get tickets now at Rockies.com/tickets.
What's up, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here. Reclaim your freedom to move, explore, and live life on your own terms. If degenerative joints are trapping you in pain, Regen RX's natural stem cell or PRP therapy sets you free, using your body's own natural ability to heal. Regain the freedom you've been missing. Get your totally free consultation today and see if it's the right move for you. Give my friends at RegenRx a call today at 303-630-9770 or visit them at regenrx.co. That's regenrx.co and let them know that Phillip Lindsay sent you.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Leading off with the big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
John Davis, Chad Andrews filling in for the fellas today. We're about to talk about how the injuries have plagued not just the Avalanche, but all Denver sports teams that have been playing in the postseason. But first, summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. Here's what you get: 2 paddleboards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, Bluetooth speaker, and a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler. Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. You can get all of that cool stuff, Chad. For the summer's here, Chad. So it's do you have any big summer plans? You just kind of had them.
Yeah, I just got back from a little short weekend trip this morning, but I got to tell you, man, that contest was stand-up paddleboards sound pretty good.
Is that what you would? That's what pops out to you?
Yeah, I have a paddleboard, but my daughter really likes to do it, and it's just not the quality of us to both be on at the same time. So like a second one is probably somewhere in the future, so we can go together. But yeah, I'm all in on the paddleboarding.
I'll take the 2 chairs and watch you paddleboard. That's what I'll do. So,
Bluetooth speaker. That's right
a good
up
one
your
too.
alley.
That's a good one too. So
I got dibs on the cooler.
Yeah, Dante, that makes sense. Yeah, that's for where you're at in life. The coolers, all the other stuff is just a byproduct for that cooler. But we're gonna bring Dante in on this too. So Chad, I'll start with you. The Broncos, they lose. They had J.K. Dobbins go down during the year. Bo Nix, obviously, in a situation, basically the last play of the game, other than he threw the ball that got the pass interference. Bo Nix breaks his ankle. They got to go Stidham. The Nuggets, we could go last year. We could go 5 years with the Nuggets on this, but the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon never gets quite healthy. Peyton Watson is not healthy. They fall to the Timberwolves, and then the Cale Makar situation to kick off this series for the Avalanche, and then Nathan McKinnon. Where do you rank those 3 teams as far as how much the injuries impacted their ability to win a championship?
Well, I think common sense as a sports fan, you always have to put the NFL quarterback as number one. And this one is a little bit different. It's very difficult because the Dobbins injury was also involved in the combination of them not being able to run the ball and the weather coming in and all the things that played a role in it. But when you look at the AFC Championship game and the fact that Jarrett Stidham turned the ball over inside the 15-yard line, and that is the one thing Bo Nix does not do. That was the only way the Patriots got in the end zone. Like, it is a pretty safe assumption that the Broncos would have gone to the Super Bowl if Bo Nix had played in the game. And the value of the NFL quarterback is way higher than any other position in sports. That's just simple fact. Right. They just carry too much weight. The NBA player that is dominant can impact the game in such a way because there's so few players, and especially if they're a two-way guy that is good on the defensive end as well, that it carries an enormous amount of weight. But it wasn't Jokic that was hurt. It's Aaron Gordon that was hurt, who is a key linchpin, right? He's not the engine for the Nuggets, but he might be the carburetor, right? He's the transmission, right? You're not driving that car without him.
You saw when the Nuggets beat the Spurs late in the year, the late success they had in that game was Aaron Gordon shutting down Wembanyama, kind of just moving him around, not letting him get, kind of out-muscling him down there. He also gets the big dunk to send that game into overtime. It's those key moments. Aaron Gordon is kind of the guy. And also with the Nuggets, I think Peyton Watson's ball handling that he developed, not having that, I think, hurt them quite a bit.
And being able to attack off the dribble, which is something they don't have without him. But Aaron Gordon and Cale Makar, I think, mirror each other in many ways, because when you're talking about playoff runs and having a chance to win a championship, first and foremost, you need their defense because they're elite top-tier defenders. Makar's as good as it gets, and he provides offense and also is the point on your power play. And Aaron Gordon, especially since developing the three-point shot, provides offense as well and is elite in the dunker spot with Jokic being able to find him. So they are your best defensive options that also provide offense. So they're similar in those ways and extremely valuable. And again, if you relate it to the automobile, maybe they're not the engine for it, but they are one of the key parts, transmission or otherwise, where you're not driving it if it's not functioning.
So with that, which one do you think impacted more? We can look at Gordon, Watson, Makar, and anybody else that's banged up on the Avalanche.
With the statement I made about quarterback being the most important and that being far and away obvious, I think the Broncos could have gotten to the Super Bowl, I still don't think they would have won. So if you're talking about the injury importance to winning a championship, I don't think it would have been Bo because I don't think they would have won.
Okay.
I also don't think with a healthy Aaron Gordon, with the limitations of the Nuggets roster down the rest of it, with lack of ball handlers and lack of other perimeter defenders, that they would have won going through San Antonio, then Oklahoma City, then the Knicks, that somebody along the way would have got them because of their lack of defenders. So by process of elimination, it probably leads me to Cale Makar. And I think I also get there because I think to begin with, all things equal, everyone healthy on all rosters, the Avalanche were the biggest favorite and had the best chance to win from that group anyway. So I think kind of looking at it from all angles, I would probably land on Cale Makar.
I've got it. I think the Broncos, because I do think the Broncos could have beat the Seahawks. The reason is I thought that Seahawks offense would have had a hard time with the Broncos pass rush. So it wasn't so much Bo how I land there. I think it was the Broncos were impacted the most because, for one, they were right there. It was the one game, so the football thing is part of it. I also think the Broncos had what I did not see from the Nuggets and I'm not seeing currently from the Avalanche, which was as much as things could get away from them in that Bills game, somebody made a play. Jaquan McMillan. Somebody was stepping up. The Broncos seemed to believe we can beat these teams. We can do it. I don't see that with the other two. I think we agree the Nuggets are third. They were not winning. Just by competition, who they were going to have to go through, their roster. With Cale, why I have Cale and the Avalanche below the Broncos, and right now we're ranking which team, Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, were impacted the most by injuries to win a championship, is because Cale came back, and while he looked good, everything else looked the same within the 3 periods. Is that whatever issues they had were not solved by Cale Makar being there. Now, the hard part is people go, well, they didn't have McKinnon. It's you subbed one in. So I think that's where my big concern was, is I think with Bo, we would have visually seen the difference in the team. With Cale, whatever happened did not look different last night.
Yeah, and I think it's a good argument because, again, with Bo, they would have been in the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know necessarily. I'm pretty confident the Nuggets, they wouldn't have gotten there regardless. And even the Avalanche fully healthy, now we're seeing other flaws exposed where we don't know that they would have even gotten into a championship series, much less won 4 of them. I think with a pretty good understanding of what went down in that AFC championship, all circumstances considered, that the Broncos would have been playing for the championship at least. I don't know that you can say that confidently about the other 2 teams.
Yeah, and that's where I land. Dante, of the 3 teams, Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, rank them impacted the most by injury to win a championship or you can go 3-1, you can go 1-3, however you want to do it.
We'll go 3-1.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to go with you guys. I think Aaron Gordon, third on that Nuggets team, just because I don't think that team was going on to win a championship regardless. You guys kind of dove into that. And if you want to even add Peyton Watson into the Aaron Gordon injury, I think both of those kind of go hand in hand there. But those 2 defenders, I don't believe personally we're going to make the difference between beating the Spurs. I still think there's a chance to lose to the Timberwolves, even if both those guys are healthy. Right. So I think they were a ways away from competing for a championship anyway with the versions of Jokic and Murray we saw. And then 2, I'll go with Cale Makar. And Nate McKinnon, if you want to add that 3rd period in last night as well. This team let me down, but I don't believe it was the absence of Cale Makar that let this team down. I think they were already going down a bad path of the way they were playing hockey regardless. And then at the top, I'll go Bo Nix, because I do truly believe the Broncos would have had a chance in that Super Bowl. I get that they would have been probably a touchdown underdog in that game, and that Seahawks team went out and played a really good Super Bowl. But there was a large portion of that game where even at halftime, it was still somewhat of a game. The Patriots were hanging around, and that's with the Patriots doing absolutely nothing on offense in that game. If you put Bo Nix in that position with this Broncos offense, again, I don't know if they're scoring 40 points in that game, but I think it'll be a lot more of a manageable game. And I love Sam Darnold, but let me roll the dice in a close game in the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, who's mostly unproven at this point. Didn't really have a lot of close game tests in the playoffs last year. They ran over the 49ers in the first round. That Rams game was real. Absolutely. That was a great win on Sam Darnold's resume, but that was at home. Now we're talking about a neutral site, probably a heck of a lot of Broncos fans in that building. I would have just liked to see how that would have played out. But the other two scenarios with the Nuggets and the Avalanche, it feels like they were not going to win a championship even if those guys were in the mix. And it's hard for me to say that because I believe the Avalanche were going to win the Stanley Cup for the last 9 months now. And for them to just fall short, or what we expect to fall short at this point, being down 3-0. Again, I don't know if Cale Makar was going to be the difference in this team overcoming some of the stuff that the Knights have thrown at them.
You know what is interesting in all three scenarios, though? In all three situations, the Nuggets, what we're seeing with the Avalanche, if it continues to play out, kind of how we expect at this point, and then the Broncos, the coaches were just lit up after all of these situations for different reasons. Adelman was just straight up, you're the wrong guy for the job. Bednar is, you've been here too long. And Sean Payton was, you had it right in front of you. And you got arrogant. You're a great coach. You're too cocky. You should have kicked the field goal. You'd be in the Super Bowl. So it's kind of one of those, it does seem like the visual overall, the injuries affect it, but the visual of how the team plays and what happens on the field ultimately is what sticks with everybody. And the coach kind of becomes what catches the blame. Kind of the bigger point is most people don't buy injuries as an excuse.
And it's always easier to blame the coach than the players you like and you love, especially when the players have proven they could do it. Mm-hmm. And the Avalanche and the Nuggets have their core players that have won a championship. So fans are going to continue to side with them and believe that they can do it again, even if their current performance doesn't indicate they're capable, like in the Nuggets case. And what's funny to me is Adelman is the least experienced, by far the least skins on the wall when talking about the three coaches, but probably the least responsible when you're talking about taking that heat. Because Sean Payton, with the weather forecast, with the situation he put Jarrett Stidham in, with some of the play calls in that game and the decisions made in that game that they easily could have won in a 10-7 ball game, and a guy who's been there plenty of times before and had other opportunities in conference championship games where similar things happened where it somehow got away. And then Jared Bednar again, over and over and over and over again in the playoffs after proving you can do it because you've done it. David Adelman didn't prove anything. And it's clear that the roster is the furthest away of the three we're talking about right now, right? So you can point to, whatever the Kroenke's tendencies are in paying coaches and front office people and saying he's not the right guy, and you may be right about that. But in evaluating these three against each other, he's carrying the least amount of responsibility in relation to the team's ability to get over that hump to a championship series or game or ultimately winning it, because the Nuggets weren't going to get there regardless of who was on the bench.
That's a great point. And Dante and I agree the Broncos were impacted the most by the injury. Now I'll counter devil's advocate myself here, and it's kind of to a point you just made, which is Sean kind of screwed it up. Ultimately, when we're talking about the game itself, Bo not being there wasn't the Sean not kicking the field goal. And we talked about, we had Chris Bianchi on. We got him on the line. So if we could get him on the line.
He was on 3 times on our station that morning and afternoon before the game with updated weather forecasts.
So if we can get him, I think Sean Payton can get him on the phone and say, hey, what are you thinking? So once the game or the opportunity happened, it feels like the Broncos, while it's the most important position, you lose Bo Nix, they actually were the most capable of winning, and they kind of, the coach more than the players, really screwed it all up for them.
And everybody points to the field goal or going for it, but there's also the key play that made the difference in the game, and where were guys positioned in terms of their blocking assignments and what was called for Jarrett Stidham when he made the decision to give up the ball and turn it over that set up the Patriots' only score. What was the play call? And was everybody where they were supposed to be?
Because it didn't look like it. It's nobody's come out and said this, but A looked like he was not, and he goes where he's told. So that looked a little weird. So it's kind of, I think it's interesting where to land on this. And again, John Davis, Chad Andrews filling in, and our guy Dante came in on this segment also talking about which of the three teams was impacted most by injuries. And we got a few different ways to look at it, because I do feel if Bo comes in, the Broncos do win ultimately, but they did have the game in hand. They didn't lose 40-10. Sean Payton just started kind of tripping all over himself. It doesn't feel like there was much Bednar Adelman we're going to do in game in any of these situations to alter anything, whether they're outmatched, whether they're outmanned. It doesn't feel like the Avalanche were out there, and maybe you could look at last night and say against us, but it doesn't feel like it was in hand and then Bednar got crazy and then they lost it all.
I think going back to the style of play discussion, you can look at it in a larger picture. Like going into any individual game or any individual playoff series, you're right. But if you look at it as a whole and leading up to that is they should be playing differently to prepare themselves for the playoffs,
yeah. Yes.
Then you have more of a leg to stand on when you're talking about Bednar, when you're talking about Adelman. The Broncos, obviously, if Bo Nix and J.K. Dobbins play and they're able to run the football at all, probably a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely you don't turn the ball over in the red zone to set up the Patriots.
Yeah, with the weird, it doesn't happen.
That was the biggest play of the AFC Championship, period. It wasn't the decisions. It was you gave the Patriots a touchdown, and they won 10-7, and you gifted it to them. The discussion with the Nuggets and the Avalanche, I think, is more of should you be doing different things over the course of the regular season, even if it doesn't lead to a President's Trophy and the most points in franchise history or being a top 3 seed in the Western Conference for the Nuggets, where you sacrifice some of those wins in those games, but you're developing other pivots and other options and different ways to play that aren't so reliant on your top-tier talent and kind of the free-flowing game that both of them play offensively. Should you be developing those other pivots and alternate options, even if it sacrifices you wins, to better prepare you for the playoffs? And I think that's the discussion you have about the Kroenke coaches in Adelman and Bednar.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's ultimately, to kind of bring this back, talking about ranking which teams were impacted the most by injuries. If we're talking about the coaches, because we all agree the Nuggets were not going to win, even with Aaron Gordon. So they're third. They were impacted. The impact of their injuries did not impede their championship path as much as Makar with the Avalanche, Bo Nix. You've got the Avs at the top simply because the Avs' best is elite, and the Broncos' best is a good team, but there's ways around things with the Broncos. And what I mean by that is the Broncos are the Timberwolves and the Golden Knights. You look at it and go, we're looking at this roster and we're looking at this roster. The Broncos should not win this game. The Broncos should not beat these teams. But then what happened? The Broncos would go out there and they do things, and you'd go online and you'd see the Eagles fans and the Giants fans and the Chiefs fans complain about how they just couldn't get it done against the Broncos late. The Broncos are the Wolves and the Golden Knights beating those Avalanche and those Nuggets teams in the playoffs.
And it's a point you bring up so often on our fan football pregame shows that is evident in the NFL that I think people see because of the popularity and only one game a week is the focus coaches have and the successful coaches have on how do I win the game against this opponent this week? Mm-hmm. With what I have available for entries, with what the weather is, with where we are in our season, how do I win this game? And the Broncos and Sean Payton do that. And it feels like the Nuggets and the Avalanche approach playoff series as this is the way we play. And you have to stop us. And then other teams do. They're like, oh, well, now what?
Well, and they kind of do this whole like, well, what are you doing? Like to the other team. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like this. Why are you playing like this? This is hard for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not as much fun when you hit us and you push us.
Right. It's telling that for the Nuggets that after that series, Denver sports fans were not mad at Jaden McDaniels anymore.
No, everybody wishes they had him on their team.
Yeah, they were like, he was right. He was right. And that's kind of the whole thing. And it goes back to that kind of dog mentality to where the Nuggets and the Avalanche, to your point, it's the whole, this is what we do. Aren't we great? Did you see all the points? Did you see that we're number one all time? Nobody's ever done this.
Most efficient basketball offense ever. Best, highest point total in Avalanche franchise history. Man.
And who cares? And they're sitting there, and the Broncos are rolling in, and it really is an attitude thing. Whether you agree with how Vance or Sean maybe calls everything, Zach Allen to Garrett Bowles to all of these guys, to J.K. Dobbins, who wanted to be back, they're dogs. And you might out-scheme them, you might beat them, but they're going to stay on you. And that's why Nick Bonito bats a pass down on 4th and goal against Washington, or 2-point conversion, whatever that was, because the Broncos you're gonna feel the impact of them the whole game. The Broncos are gonna make you kind of wear that, and that's because Vance and Sean, again, they do get out schemed, both of them, and they do make a ton of mistakes in game, but they do enough to prepare the players. So this is what we got to do this week, and that's why they can continue to find ways to win. They don't have a Nathan McKinnon or Nikola Jokic on that roster. Pat Surtain is elite. But the way football's set up, like you're talking about, it's not – they don't have Mahomes. They don't have that. But they've got enough of those Jaden McDaniels-type players on the roster that allows them to hang in any game and really frustrate their opponent.
Yeah, and it's an approach of we know we're going to be in a fight every week. And when you're in a fight, you're going to get hit, and that's fine because we can take a hit and we're going to punch back. And – I think for the other two franchises, it's been proven over the course of the playoffs right now is they're not faring too well in taking punches.
No.
They have one punch to throw, and if it's not landing and if it's not effective, they don't have a way to pivot. The Broncos proved that they could pivot. I mean, how many fourth-quarter comebacks did we have last season alone in creating a winning streak? It's figuring out how do I win this game and not continuing to pound your head against a wall when it's not working, doing only one thing one way.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's fair that people are saying, do we need a coaching change with the Avalanche? And I'm not necessarily calling for it, but it's why I think the conversation is at least appropriate and why the conversation was appropriate with David Adelman, because the visual, when it gets tough, it doesn't pass the eye test for either team. John Davis, Chad Anders filling in today, hanging out with Dante Gomez. We got the 3 count next.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause. Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown. On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire it back, then do what I did and go see Dr. Tanya Pauls at Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can personally attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation today. Call 720-459-HAIR and you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. That's 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver, and they've changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine.
Become inspired with the before and afters at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
Memorial Day savings are going on now at Mountain High Appliances Clearance Center. Hi, I'm Brad Barnett, president and founder of Mountain High Appliance. Save up to 60% on brand new appliances from Bosch, GE, LG, KitchenAid, and more. Amazing savings on out-of-box, discontinued, and floor models. Plus, we'll match any local competitor's price. Visit us today and experience the difference.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With Smart Business Buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall Tire Dressing. Plus, get 4 times O-Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. They also offer finance plans that come with no payments for 2 years. 5280 Exteriors is a locally owned company that has been in business for 20 years and knows the Colorado climate. They are a 2024 and 2025 James Hardy President's Club winner. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
At Smart Local 9 Sheet Metal Workers, they provide highly trained sheet metal professionals ready to get the job done safely, efficiently, and with pride. Their workforce is built through a comprehensive 4-year apprenticeship program where apprentices earn while they learn, receiving industry-leading training in fabrication and installation of HVAC systems, as well as HVAC service, architectural sheet metal, testing, adjusting, and balancing, welding, computer-aided drafting, safety, and emerging technologies. Find out more at smw9.com.
Brenda Stokely from my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auctions for over 40 years. They conduct over 150 auctions every year, selling tens of thousands of items at the price you set. Auctions are held regularly for Colorado government agencies, and they always have big-ticket items at great prices. That's why I love Roller Auction. And almost all bidding is conducted online in real time, and it's open to the public. Anyone can participate. Check back regularly. New auctions are added weekly. Be the first to know about new auctions available for bidding when you sign up for email notifications. Go to rollerauction.com/thefan.
When it's sports, you love watching the pros.
If it's surgery, you definitely want the pros.
When you need a new roof, call Denver Roof Pros.
No matter if it hails, rains, or snows, nobody knows your roof like the Denver Roof Pros.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, Dr. Joseph Ramos is both a doctor and a lawyer, combining legal and medical expertise. He can help. Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. RamosLaw.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver.
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 count on the drive.
It's John Davis and Chad Andrews filling in. I can't do it. It's trying. It would make me sound like a bigger fool than anything. But yeah, first on the 3 count.
1.
The San Antonio Spurs even up the series with a beatdown, 103-82 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chad, are we maybe looking at the OKC dynasty kind of go one championship right now, kind of like we saw with the Nuggets?
I'm not going to say that yet. They still have home court in a tied series and a long, long way to go. But I would love that. I sure hope so. I just do not enjoy watching that team play in any way, shape, or form. I get irrationally angry about watching some of their players that are actually doing exactly what they're being coached and told to do and are playing very well, and I hate watching it. So I hope the Spurs dispense of them in short order in the next 2 games, but I'm not going to count on that happening.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. The one thing, if you're an OKC fan, Jalen Williams hamstring, AJ Mitchell out with he's a calf strain. So it's that lower extremity issue we're kind of seeing run rampant in the NBA. Even if the injuries somehow keep the Thunder out this year, I'm not writing off their dynasty. They could come back next year. They're going to lose some guys, but they can figure it out. They've got a lot of assets right there. So be interesting to see how it is. But without Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell, it could be hard, but it's going back to Oklahoma City. That place is going to be rocking. Dante, Spurs Thunder, where are you sitting on this series right now?
I still got the Thunder.
Yeah.
I know that they're facing injuries, but that championship pedigree, I think, is going to get them through. I don't know. I'm excited. I think hopefully we get 7. I think as basketball fans, we deserve to get 7 in this series, especially with the way the Eastern Conference final is going. So hopefully we get 7, but I still think the Thunder are going to eke out a win here.
Yeah, I think they're going to look good tomorrow night with the Thunder. So next on the 3 count.
1, 2.
What everybody's been waiting for right now, Dante is going to tell us. We've got the college lacrosse champion to report. Dante, who won?
The number 1 seed Princeton took it home. It was a great game. It was number 1 versus number 2 Notre Dame. Notre Dame jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Looked like they were kind of running away with it. Princeton answered with 11 unanswered, 11-3 going into the half. A little bit back and forth in the second half. Finished up 16-9. Princeton takes home their first NCAA or lacrosse men's NCAA championship since 2001. So on the 25th anniversary, they bring home another. Good for those guys. I know Chad was saying before the show, we were talking a little about it, about how Princeton is always in the mix there. But for my lifetime, since I've been watching the college lacrosse tournament, it feels like Duke, Virginia, UNC, we're taking home a lot of those. So good to see some new blood in there taking home.
Chad, lacrosse? Did you play lacrosse?
I did not play lacrosse. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how well I would have done with the constant running, but I mean, I don't know how much different it is than soccer or basketball, right? Running the whole time. But
balls flying at your head.
Yeah, I did fare better in contact sports. We'll say that. So
Okay.
I think lacrosse would have been fun for me.
Yeah, lacrosse. I know a bunch of people whose kids play lacrosse, and it's one of those tournaments every weekend. They're kind of doing it. So, with as many people as I know whose kids play lacrosse, it's cool to see. There's championship. There's a path for them in college. I was never. Chad, this is my thing. I was telling Dante this. I am not a big guy, and so when it comes to playing a contact sport, I'm in a lot of trouble. And also, you can't see me, so I can get lost in the mix very easily. That's what I figured. I worked so hard at basketball, and then I go play, and I could dribble all day, but these dudes are just standing in my way the entire time. So a sport like lacrosse, but congratulations to Princeton. A lot of people like when Notre Dame loses, so I guess that was a big one today. But next on the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, Chad. Tonight we've got the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. How many times? So the Knicks went to the NBA Finals, the lockout, 1999. Did they go to the finals that year? When's the last time the Knicks were in the finals?
I know they were in the finals in, 94. Did they go after that?
It feels like they went one other time. But either way, the New York Knicks, we'll look that up real quick. The New York Knicks on the precipice to go to the NBA Finals in a long time. This is you would think a flagship organization.
Yeah, they did go in 99.
99, the lockout year. I think they win as like an 8th seed or something crazy like that. But how much
the
is
Spurs, which may happen again.
Yeah. I think that was Duncan's rookie year. No, second year that they did that, because Duncan's rookie year the Bulls won. But the New York Knicks, the NBA would love to have New York there. Pretty impressive, though, the way they went out last year, kind of everything that happened to them with Boston. To bounce back, to kind of come back. You don't always see that in sports when teams are disappointed. Jalen Brunson takes a pay cut. The roster's built really well. Is everybody riding? For one, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Do you expect the Knicks to eliminate the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight?
Yes. Cleveland's not going to win 4 straight games.
Do you expect it to happen tonight?
Yeah, probably. I mean, but the Knicks are due for a loss. They're on an incredible heater right now.
Yeah.
So they are due to trip up somewhere. And if they win tonight, they're going to have a lot of time off before the finals on a really long win streak with a lot of hype.
I'll ask you this. Could the Nuggets beat the New York Knicks in a 7-game series?
As currently constructed, no.
You think the Knicks would take them?
The Knicks would win.
Why is that?
The Knicks, as much heat as Mike Brown has taken as a coach, and people want to criticize him and not being able to get it done, the Knicks win in multiple different ways. And when they turned their season around when they were struggling, it was because they went into playing a lot like the Nuggets do, with ball movement and freedom of motion and passing and finding the open man, a lot of cutting, and really amping up their offense. And that is how they kind of found their footing when they were struggling in the last third of the season before they turned things around and got hot. And they play very similarly to the way the Nuggets do, but they defend better. They're more athletic. And they have proven now in this series against Cleveland that they can push a different button, because the Cavs cut that off. What was it, game 2 or 3?
The big comeback
The
game?
big comeback game. Was that game 2?
Yeah.
When they came back from down 20, the Cleveland countered that, was defending really, really well, had a huge lead going into the fourth quarter, and the Knicks just switched it up. And they went, okay, well, we're not going to do that anymore. Instead, we're just going to isolate James Harden every time, and Jalen Brunson's going to go score. And he did. And that would look remarkably the same if Jamal Murray was trying to defend Jalen Brunson, as it did when James Harden was trying to defend Jalen Brunson. And I was just watching that game going, somebody tell Kenny Atkinson that James Harden doesn't have to be in the game. Like, you can take him out. And Brunson was just scorching him. And the Knicks came back and won that game. But they pivoted away from the way that they had been playing the last 30% of the season and went back to playing ISO one-on-one and picking on one guy the same way that every team picks on Jamal Murray.
Real quick, we're going to go ahead out on a limb and say the Knicks win. Who's the better matchup for the Knicks, the Spurs or the Thunder?
Spurs.
I think so, too. Yeah, if you're the Knicks, and that's no shade at the Spurs. They're fantastic. I think so, too, that if you're the Knicks, you're wanting the Spurs, not the Thunder.
Inexperience. Fox and Harper have both been banged up a little bit, and Karl Anthony Towns, probably the best shooting big man in basketball, can draw Wemby away from the basket. So, yes, the Spurs are a better matchup for the Knicks.
The spacing and everything. So, yeah, if you're the Knicks, that's what you're wanting. Speaking of the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Chad says he should be traded. Why does Chad think Jamal Murray should be traded? We get into that next.
The season's hanging by a thread. The Avalanche blew a 3-0 lead in Vegas, dropped Game 3 in heartbreaking fashion, and now trail the series 3-0. To make matters worse, Nathan McKinnon left with an injury, leaving Colorado searching for answers and facing elimination. Can the Avs pull off the impossible, or is this the beginning of the end? Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Here's what most siding companies won't tell you. By the time it looks bad on the outside, the real damage is already underneath. In Colorado, that happens faster than most people expect. I trust Gravina's Window Center of Littleton because they start there with what actually holds up long term. 50 years plus serving Denver, Colorado on the Front Range. Right now, 20% off of James Hardy siding. Check them out, windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry buys, sells, and services pre-owned Rolex, Cartier, and all luxury Swiss watches. So if you're looking to make a change in your watch collection or just looking to sell, come to Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX, Rocks, Heating and Air.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Who helps keep Colorado's wildlife wild? Our people do.
Hello, my name is Patricia. I've been with Chevron for over 17 years.
Her team uses GPS to track where mule deer and pronghorn roam throughout the seasons. This data helps us take their habitats into consideration when planning our operations.
When we created our comprehensive wildlife and conservation program, it was really about what was possible.
Learn more at colorado.chevron.com.
Now at McDonald's, everyone can get more of what they want, when they want it, with McValue. You can choose your wake-up call. You can choose your study meal, or even your drive-through dinner.
Ah, the sun is rising, and our breakfast prices are falling. Right now, get a sausage McMuffin, hash browns, and more for under $3 each. Limited time only. Price or participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Want to partake in our contest? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com. Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lemmy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
John Davis, Chad Andrews filling in for the guys. We're going to also bring in our guy Dante Gomez on this segment. Chad, the Denver Nuggets should trade Jamal Murray, yes?
Yes, they should.
Is he the main, if you're looking, the best move for the Nuggets to make this offseason, is that the trade that will yield the best return to help them down the line?
It will yield the best return, and it will also provide them the most potential relief off of their cap. And we got a text earlier asking to explain how NBA trades work, because they keep hearing salaries have to match, but the Nuggets have to dump salaries. So how does that work? And essentially, yes, the trades have to, for the most part, match up salary-wise, but the way you can skirt that a little bit is by trading a higher salary to a team that has cap room and can absorb it. So you have to trade him to somebody that has room to take on the salary without going over the cap and get whatever you're going to get in return. So when you look at that in terms of the Nuggets standpoint, whether you're talking about Jamal Murray, whether you're talking about Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, any of those larger numbers that you want to trade to reshape the roster around Jokic, you're not only looking to trade and get younger, quicker, more athletic, more ball handling, more perimeter defense in return, you're also looking to lower your salary cap number. Because right now, you are not just over the luxury tax, you're into the first apron, and any additional money, you're going to pay a repeater tax, and you're going to go into the second apron, which limits your flexibility going forward, meaning you can't do these types of moves where you can't take multiple players back or things like that. Can't ship multiple players out. There's a lot of things that cause problems if you take on any more money. And when Payton Watson is a restricted free agent, that is going to cost a lot of money and is the exact archetype of player you want to add to the roster, it creates a real mess on your cap sheet. So what the Nuggets have to do is find money relief while acquiring younger, more athletic, ball-handling players that are more versatile. It's a tough task. The only teams that have money to absorb in trades, meaning they can send you less for what they're taking, are the Bulls, the Nets, the Lakers, the Jazz, the Clippers, and I think the Wizards. So that's who you're dealing with.
And you're not trading him to the Lakers. Dante, the Nuggets should or should not trade Jamal Murray?
I do think that they should, but it's not as cut and dry with me as it is for Chad there. I still think that you can be successful with the duo of Murray and Jokic, but I think the organization let down the team at that point. And we talked about how the Nuggets' two worst defenders are their two best players in Murray and Jokic, and how that's not successful or a plan there to build a team that's going to succeed in the playoffs. And there is a team that actually has done pretty much the exact same thing. However, the way that they surround the players is a lot better. And I'm talking about the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson, not exactly a defensive specialist. Karl Anthony Towns, also not a defensive specialist. But the guys that they have around him, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, that's what they're out to do. And those guys each can score double digits on any given night. So to me, it's poor roster construction for the Nuggets. And at this point, it probably does make sense to trade Jamal Murray. And the other thing I will note about the Knicks with Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns is that those guys are not necessarily traffic cones on defense the way that the Nuggets, Jokic and Murray are. Those guys just don't really have the will to play defense, and they're going to get picked on every single time if that's the way it goes, similar to how we've seen James Harden in the Eastern Conference Finals on the Cavaliers there. So I think that Payton Watson is a step towards building the right kind of roster around those two guys, but it might be too late to where trade Murray. You can't really have these shorter guards out there that are going to get picked on defense every single time. You at least have to show some fight and not be the odd man out. And at this point, I think Murray's too old to show that fight and be anything more than a traffic cone on defense.
Chad, with that, why can't Murray Jokic, to Dante's point, where you have Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, then you have Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. Now, you'd have to go into the second apron or repeat or whatever. Why can't Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, and Peyton Watson be Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray?
They have to be healthy. Cam Johnson has never proven he can be over the course of a full season in his time in the NBA. Aaron Gordon is playing fewer and fewer games every single year, and Peyton Watson wasn't available to play when you needed him the most after he broke out this season.
And he's been injured throughout his career too.
And look, if you want to really dive in here, I don't have any inside information on this. I don't have anyone talking or providing me with facts, but it is reasonable to ask the question if Peyton Watson wants to play here. I don't know that it is his preferred destination now that he has an option to get paid, that he wants to be back here and play the role that the Nuggets would ask him to play behind those big three going forward. I don't know that that's what he wants. And if you're going to, so you may be looking at a situation where he is the linchpin and the ideal type of player you want this roster to have to build around Jokic going forward, but are you going to do that in a way where he's going to be resentful that he's got to do it here and he's still got to take a back seat? The other option, or the other consideration, I should say, when you're talking about why can't Watson, Gordon, and Johnson be those guys like the Knicks have it, is you have got to then talk Jamal Murray into not having the ball in his hands all the time and running everything into the two-man game and playing more of a free-flowing motion offense where everybody touches it and more of his energy is focused and spent on the defensive end and less on orchestrating the offense. And does Jamal Murray want to do that?
And the thing is, too, you'd have to pay all those guys and you go into the
yes,
all the other stuff.
You're still going to be – if you have those five players – you're a luxury tax team and a first apron team, and anything else, you're looking at a second apron team.
And you haven't even mentioned Christian Brown's
contract. Right. And in my scenario, he's on the bench, too, which you're paying a lot of money for a guy. To your point, Dante, we're not even factoring in a very high-paid bench player at that point. So, Chad, based on all of this, you feel Jamal Murray being traded is the best route. I don't know if tear it down is the right word, but to retool, redesign for this next era of Nikola Jokic in Denver.
I think it's the best way to, one, you're automatically wiping $50 million away with some sort of replacement that has to provide you ball handling, offense initiation, and perimeter defense. Are they going to have the shot-making ability of Jamal Murray? They're probably not. You're just not going to get that in return for somebody that also plays defense and also can do the things that you're lacking with Jamal. You're not going to get a third-team All-NBA player in return, but you might get two or three players that can be in your rotation that can help you take the load of handling the ball and can defend on the perimeter. Or be backups in whatever way you need them to be backups. If you need an Aaron Gordon insurance policy, if you need a different Jokic backup, because Valanciunas is going to be gone.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now, Jonas Valanciunas is one area where they're going to get cap relief, and I expect the other areas is I don't expect Peyton Watson to be here and them to invest money in that, and then it's what else can they do from there involving probably Cam Johnson or Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Chad, I saw a hypothetical trade out there that was Jamal Murray and Deron Holmes for Derek White and Sam Hauser of the Celtics. Is that something that interests you with that defensive prowess Derek White has, plus the shot-making ability?
Derek White is a fantastic player. He is definitely a winner, and it's always great to have a local kid back home, right? I think you would get kind of the B minus version of the Chauncey effect when he came here, right? Derek White playing from Parker back with the Nuggets, but he is the exact type of player I think you need to start building the roster around, because he provides you more defense, a little bit more athleticism, and more versatility, where he's going to lock down and defend a guy, but you know he can hit clutch shots. You have to think along those lines in style. But again, if you can remove Jamal, you remove $50 million and find a way to make that more flexible between 2 or 3 guys. But you have to replace it with someone that can defend and not put that load on, 1, a 2-man game of Jokic and Murray, but 2, then those 2 guys always being focused on defense.
It's going to be fascinating to see how the Nuggets handle this, or maybe they don't make any trades at all, and the backlash from that. We'll see how everybody handles that. But Jamal, it makes a lot of sense. I know Zach is also talked about how that's probably their best path there. So maybe we do see an all-time great Denver Sport player leave. The Avalanche are down 0-3. Can they come back and win this series? Chad and I get into that next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Behind every door is a story. Let Weichert guide yours with expert advice and peace of mind for all of your real estate needs. Weichert, the bright choice. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here, and if you're a guy over 50 dealing with an enlarged prostate, you need to know about PAE, prostate artery embolization. It's minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're back home the same day. Most men who have PAE don't experience any sexual side effects associated with conventional prostate surgery. At Colorado Advanced Endovascular, their experienced team offers specialized prostate treatments with near zero impact on sexual function. Top-tier radiologists, boutique setting, personalized care in Lakewood. Go to coloradoae.com.
At AutoNation, there's no pressure, no surprises, just the keys. Now through Memorial Day, get 0% financing on your favorite new vehicles. You'll save thousands of dollars in interest alone. Drive the car you want today with 0% financing. Don't wait. Memorial Day savings end May 25th. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation dealership. Less stress, more go. Visit AutoNation.com for eligible vehicles. 0 APR for a limited term with approved credit. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR, advancedhair.com. DenverSports.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Join Will Peterson after every playoff hockey game live from the ice, brought to you by Denver Deck Builders. The Denver Sports Team breaks down the sights, sounds, and emotions of every goal exclusively online across Denver Sports socials.
Discover wants everyone to feel special. That's why they double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
John Davis and Chad Andrus filling in for the guys today. Not the big story today, Chad. Obviously, the Colorado Avalanche going down 0-3. I don't think I know anybody, and we can talk to a lot of people that like sports, obviously, between colleagues, fans. I don't think anybody could have predicted that the Avalanche would be down 0-3. Can the Colorado Avalanche come back from an 0-3 deficit and win this series?
Mathematically?
Mathematically, they can.
Yes.
Do you believe it's in the realm of possibility? And how about this? What do you need to see in Game 4? Because they have to win it. So beyond a win, what do you have to see in Game 4 to believe the Avalanche can come back and win?
First and foremost, I think they need to shut down Vegas in a way where there's just nothing going on. I mean, I want to see the Golden Knights have 14 shots on goal.
And none of them go in.
Yeah, and not quality chances, right. Not quality looks. Like, it has to be such a level of desperation and sellout on the defensive end to where I need to see that commitment of you're not scoring. First and foremost, you're not going to score, period, and then we'll see what happens from there, because I think that's what happens to the Avalanche year after year after year in the postseason, is they run into an opponent that is 100% committed to saying, you're not doing that to us, and then we'll figure out some way to score. Something will go in. We'll grind it out. We'll tip a puck. We'll get puck luck. There'll be a bad bounce. There'll be something off the post that goes in, and we'll find a way. But we know if we keep you from scoring, we're going to extend this out long enough to have a chance to do that. And I need to see that level and that style, that level of commitment, that style of play from the Avalanche, showing that desperation of, you can't beat us if you don't score, so you're not going to score.
That's a great point. If you go back to Game 2, that was on Friday, when the Avs were up 1-0, was it Eichel that scored the first goal? And I forget who was guarding him, but he kind of dazzled him with the puck a little bit and then just shot it in. And then you saw Malinsky last night just get juked, just like Allen Iverson crossover and get juked, and then they score right after that. That's, to your point, that's not imposing on the other team. That's not doing anything to kind of bother them. And I agree with your point, and the visual is different. You tune in last night, you're going to go, how is it tied? It's 29 shots on goal to 15 in the second period. But that's why stats can be misleading, because the quality of the shot on goal is a stat. They don't guard it by that was quality shot on goal or not. It's cleaner looks. It's much less chaotic when Vegas is scoring versus they're getting much more value, bang for their buck on their shots on goal than the Avalanche are. The Avalanche are just kind of accumulating shots on goal, but rarely do I see, it's probably like 1 in the 5 shots where I'm like, oh, they had a real shot for that to go in. So for you though, the defense and the real estate they've been allowing, the clean looks, that's been the bigger cause of concern than the Avalanche inability to kind of score the way they did all season.
Well, obviously it's concerning when you put up 30-plus shots and you're not scoring. But the only way I think you survive in a situation when you're down like this is you've got to be so committed and so determined that the other team's not going to score. They cannot play with a lead on you at any point ever.
Because you have not been able to overcome that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Avalanche have not, once down, they've failed to tie or take a lead, right? Because they were down all of game 1. Game 2, they were winning 1-0, but then it was tied, and then they lose 3-1. And then the last game, they were up 3-0. They give up the tie. So, yeah, they've yet to retake a lead once they've been down.
And we heard the same argument with David Adelman pushing back on media members in the Nuggets series when he kept talking about the offense isn't performing. The offense isn't performing. You tell me offense doesn't matter. Well, in a way it doesn't, because the way you are guarding, other teams have a layup line and can get to the rim and score anytime they want. So your lack of offense doesn't make a difference if you don't ever stop someone. It has to begin with defensive stops. If you're going to rally back, you have to stop the other team from scoring.
I agree. Obviously, you got it. And I think that matters because the defense has looked lost. Offensively, the flip side is you do have to score to win. And I have been bothered by the lack of clean looks, but also the way Vegas is able to just kind of get a stick on the puck when the Avalanche shoot, to where if the Avalanche can figure out how to get cleaner shots on goal and turn it into a foot race, I like their odds better in that style of play. I just don't know how realistic it is to think that they're just going to suddenly come up with a solution to that. So I think I do fall where you are. If the Avalanche are going to come back from 0-3, it's going to have to be you stop giving them such good looks. And it's going to be more like a Kings situation where you're getting them 2-1 versus 6-7, 5-4. That's probably not how it's going to happen. You have to prevent them from getting quality. The Avalanche have to prevent the Knights from quality shots on goal, and then find a way to sneak in those 1-2 the way they have been. That's probably the Avalanche best path from 0-3, coming back from 0-3. But we've got to see something look different in the next game.
And it's not going to look like Game 1 against Minnesota.
No.
You're not getting a 9-6 game in the Western Conference Finals. And I was shocked we got one of those in the playoffs, but one was enough of a reminder to the rest of the league, like, oh, yeah, we're not going to do that against them.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. You're not going to win doing that. You're not going to win a sprint like that.
No.
And Vegas knows better than anyone, and they've proven it before, that they have the mental toughness and capacity to ride it out playing it this way. And they say, we're just going to try to hit you and bully you and beat you up. And, the pucks will land where they may, in the net or not, but we're not going to let you skate freely.
And if the Avs do come back kind of from that 0-3, one thing, Game 2, they're playing at altitude. The Avalanche are the deeper roster. To me, they looked tired at the end of Game 2. And that was I was like, that's interesting to me. That the Avalanche look like they're much more exhausted. And they have nothing, which, to your point, that means Vegas is kind of dictating everything to them on the ice. So I'm with you. If the Avalanche are going to come back from 0-3, and we need to see it tomorrow night, beyond a win, we need to see something that shows us, okay, they've corrected. There's been a change here. They've corrected it. We got a text about another change that the Avalanche have tried to make in this playoffs, and it didn't work. Should the Avalanche make this change again, and will it help them overcome this 0-3 deficit? Chad and I will get into that next.
Avalanche, Golden Knights. It's the Western Conference Final, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is all in. 1 hour before puck drop, we're live with full pregame coverage, keys to the game, bold predictions, and the intel you need. When the final horn sounds, we're not going anywhere. Instant post-game reaction. Every hit, every goal, every save. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
What is up, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here, and if joint pain is holding you back, hear me out. At RegenRx in Denver, they are on another level. They don't just do guesswork. They build a real plan for you. Maybe you need Wharton's jelly to support the joints. Maybe it's the shockwave therapy that they have to get the blood flow back going. And they're even going to sit you down and give you a 6-month booster to keep your results feeling elite. And the best part about going to RegenRx is their consultation is completely free. No risk. If you're dealing with degenerative joints or long-term pain, see if their stem cell therapy is the right move for you. It's about quality of life. Staying explosive, staying active, and of course, staying present for your family. So give my friends at RegenRx a call today at 303-630-9770 or visit them online at regenrx.co.
Hijita, I can't hear you. I'm at the stadium in Monterrey.
Here, shout goal together. Get nonstop talk, text, and data in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada with T-Mobile, America's best network. Switch on the T-Life app or on T-Mobile.com/connectate. On qualifying plans not for extended international use, you must reside in the U.S. In primary usage must occur on our network. Best based on analysis by Ookla. Speed test intelligence data 2H 2025.
Brandon Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell? Since 1976, Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
This Memorial Day, the best price of the summer is here at Elitch Gardens. Buy 2 season passes and get each for just $69.99. That's $15 off per pass. Enjoy unlimited thrills, splash all summer in the water park. And come back for unforgettable events like dazzling drone shows, kids' favorites like Blippi and Mika, dive-in movies, festivals, and more. Don't miss your chance to lock in the best value of the season. Get your passes now at elitchgardens.com.
Hey guys, it's that time of year. Time to get your lawn in great shape for the season. And when it comes to healthier, greener grass, I know of no 2 better products than Rich Lawn Turf Food and Revive Ready Spray. Rich Lawn Turf Food is premium organic-based fertilizer that builds stronger soil and keeps your lawn lush and green longer. And you'll find Rich Lawn Turf Food along with Easy Green Grass Seed, Iron Rich for yellow lawns, and Go Rich organic-based garden fertilizer at the Home Depot or your local garden center. Then give your lawn a boost with Revive, the fast-acting organic-based lawn treatment that helps create thicker, greener grass with deeper watering and deeper roots. Say goodbye to the backyard blues, guys. With Rich Lawn and Revive, your yard will be ready in no time. Find it at Home Depot or your local gardening center.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I've got to tell you about Schomp Honda. If you're looking for an SUV that can handle Colorado, check out the new 2026 Honda CR-V. It's comfortable, capable, and perfect for everything from your daily drive drive to weekend getaways. Right now, Champ Honda has the largest inventory since before COVID, so you've got more options than ever. And I love this. Champ Honda does things differently. Their one price, one person, 1 hour philosophy means a fair price up front and way less time at the dealership. They never charge dealer handling fees.
Are you an HVAC or mechanical contractor looking for qualified manpower you can rely on? Smart Local 9 sheet metal workers provide highly trained professionals ready to get the job done safely, efficiently, and with pride. Their workforce is trained through a 4-year apprenticeship program focused on HVAC systems, service, welding, drafting, safety, and emerging technologies. Need manpower for a large project or flexibility as workloads change? Smart Local 9 helps you stay competitive with access to a skilled, dependable workforce. Learn more at smw9.com.
Drivers who switch to Progressive could save hundreds just by bundling home and auto insurance, because you can't go wrong saving money. Unless you spend it on a guitar, never learn to play it, but lie and say that you did. Then someone hands you a guitar at a party and asks you to play, so you decide to improvise this.
Well, don't you know that but that's not it. Dreams are fun and also good.
Yep, you can't go wrong bundling and saving money with Progressive. Well, depends on how you spend it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
John Davis, Chad Andrus sitting in for Zach and Phil today. We are going to get to a change that could we see with the Avalanche, and should we see with the Avalanche? But first, is your child interested in picking up the game of football? Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan for our 3rd annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan youth football camp. Saturday, January 27th at Denver South High School All-City Stadium. Children's aged 8 to 14 can enjoy hands-on coaching from former Denver Bronco players Mark Schlereth, Phillip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, as well as a staff of coaches from Denver South. All proceeds benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. For more information and to register your child, head to denversports.com/camp. Chad, desperate times. I mean, you're 0-3. There's probably not any bad ideas. But should the Avalanche sit Scott Wedgwood, and play Mackenzie Blackwood in Game 4?
I don't know that goaltending has been the problem. I can understand the defense in front of the goaltender, but it's more concerning to me the looks that the Avalanche don't cash in on with a number of shots with their chances against Carter Hart, because I don't think he's been spectacular. He's been fine. Mm-hmm. And when you have such a shot advantage, but your percentage of converting is so much lower, I think you have to probably consider it, and I can buy into that argument. I just don't think Mackenzie Blackwood's that good. I don't think he's as good as Scott Wedgwood. I don't like the odds of it improving your chances to win. And I'll be honest, it's crossed my mind in each of the last 2 games where when you watch the Stanley Cup playoffs year by year, you just run into those games where, like, man, that goaltender was just unbelievable. He really kept them in it. He gave them a chance to win. The Avalanche needed one of those. They needed one of those in Game 2, to be quite honest with you, at home. Like, we just need, regardless of what happens on the rest of the ice, we need the goaltender to be really, really special in this one, so we can wait it out long enough to have a chance to win and get it done. And he wasn't. And I don't think he's been bad. I don't think there's anything that's glaring that's been terrible about the goals he's given up, but he certainly hasn't been special and hasn't been a reason that has given them a chance to win.
Yeah, it's like one game a series. You need the goaltender to stand on his head, as they say. With Wedgwood, yeah, when they've got clean looks, it's like in the NBA. We use all these sports analogies. A guy that's played basketball his whole life can hit an open three if he's not being bothered all game and he's got timing. We see it over and over again with the Nuggets defense. Guys hit an open three. If a guy's played hockey his whole life and he's got a clean look at the net, I mean, the first goal in the series was scored. I'm blanking on the guy's name for the Golden Knights. He had not scored a goal in the NHL since December 2021. The Bolins still owned the Broncos at this time. Russell Wilson was still in Seattle, but the guy's played hockey his whole life. He had a good look. We're talking about should the Avalanche, sit Scott Wedgwood for Mackenzie Blackwood. I'm with you. I don't know if that solves the fact that when you're up against the boards, the Golden Knights are having an easier time getting the puck out of there. I don't know if that frees up, if that makes the defense better in front of you. I don't know if changing to Mackenzie Blackwood suddenly gets Marty Netjes in front of the goal and getting nice shots on goal. I don't think he had any last game, Netjes. The one issue I have with Scott Wedgwood, and I don't think he's been terrible, and I think if you're ranking the reasons the Avalanche are down 0-3, I don't think he's in those first few. The goals seem to come in bunches, though. And that kind of is what gives me pause with him, and what kind of makes me a little nervous is it's like they're up 1-0 the whole game, and then suddenly they're down 2-0. They come right out, and it's 3-2 immediately in the second period. You give up 3 in the entire second period. So I think that's where my issue with Wedgwood has come in, is the goals are not spread out. And the Avalanche have struggled with maintaining momentum since prior to winning the Stanley Cup. Back when they lost to the Golden Knights, they immediately give up momentum. They have a hard time sustaining it, and they have a hard time getting it back. That said, Mackenzie Blackwood also gives up goals in bunches. So the main concern I have with Scott Wedgwood is not really resolved by playing Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah, and what happens if it starts poorly again?
Right.
Like Game 5 against Minnesota. And you find yourself in a hole. You've proven that you're not good at battling back against this team when you're playing with a deficit. And if it starts bad again, right? Minnesota, they were able to overcome it. They made the switch. The team got a spark from that and looked like it had a little bit more jump. But does making a goaltender switch automatically guarantee a spark? Or in the Game 5 against the Wild, did the Avalanche get a spark because the switch was back to Wedgwood? And they were more confident with him playing. Is it because of the guy they're switching to, or is it just the mere fact of the switch? I think it's probably, if I'm a player, it's more the guy you're switching to.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in the spark thing in sports. I've always thought that's where you have a whole team. And this because if one guy can come in and provide a spark and make you win, he should have been playing the entire time. That's kind of always been my thing. Is like, well, if that guy helps you win when you're losing, why didn't you just have him play from the beginning? That seems pretty obvious to me. Going by the eye test, I'm with you. I think the players believe more in Scott Wedgwood back there, at least right now. I think they have more faith in him back there. Is it odd to you that the player? It appears no players come out and said we like him better than Mackenzie Blackwood. That Bednar is always kind of
feels. It seems like he favors Blackwood over Wedgwood.
It does.
Seems like that's who he would prefer to win out. In still being an objective observer and evaluating a competition, it seems like his preference would be for him to win out.
Yes. Yeah, that seems to be. And we've seen that. I mean, Vic Fangio knew it was Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock's birthday on the same day. And he was hyped about Teddy, and he was very dismissive of Drew. It's that now I'm not similar situation, very important position on the team. Vic clearly favored Teddy. It was easier to play Teddy over Drew because Drew wasn't necessarily out playing Teddy, but we kind of see that again with Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood, where a coach seems to really like it. That said, we don't think they should change to Mackenzie Blackwood. Do you think Jared Bednar will change to Mackenzie Blackwood for Game 4?
Wouldn't surprise me if he does. I would probably lean a 60-40 that he does, or a 55-45 that he does.
Yeah. In favor that he doesn't.
That he does change.
So 60% likely he does do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not terribly confident, but I could see him trying to pull that cord. What's terrifying to me is if the Avalanche are going to be the fifth NHL team to come back from 3-0 and win the series, I think they're probably going to have at least 2 of the next 4 where they have that extra special goaltender game. If they're going to win 4 in a row, 2 of them are probably going to be because their goaltending was just off the charts outstanding.
Yes.
And I don't know that we've seen that maybe for more than like 2 periods so far in the playoffs.
That's a great point because they're probably not going to score 6 goals in a game. So the goaltending's going to have to be good. And really, this is a crazy thing for me to say, at least to get this series even, you can't allow more than 2 in the next few games. And you got to find a way to score 3. And does Blackwood suddenly do something Scott Wedgwood can't? That's kind of what we don't know about. So, I'm with you. I think, Dante, real quick, could you see them? I could see Bednar playing Mackenzie Blackwood if I had to. If you were forced me to answer, I bet Blackwood's in net game 4. I don't know. Could you see Bednar? Do you think Bednar, Dante, will switch to Mackenzie Blackwood?
I do think he will, but I'm with Chad. I don't necessarily think that Wedgwood has been the issue for this Colorado Avalanche team. I actually think he gives them a better chance to win on a game-in and game-out basis. I blame more of what's going around him for the reason that they're in this hole. I think Blackwood has maybe a similar ceiling as Wedgwood, maybe a tad higher, but I think his floor is a lot lower than what Wedgwood provides. And if you're going to go out and win 4 in a row, I don't think you can afford to have a low floor goaltender in net if you're trying to win 4.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could just be a, hey, why not situation with Mackenzie Blackwood. One of the top Avalanche players, the best Avalanche player, maybe the all-time best Avalanche player, did not look good in the third period after hurting his knee. Are we concerned about Nathan McKinnon heading into these next few games? Chad and I will get into that next.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer?
Are you kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan's 3rd annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child ages 8 to 14 will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Phillip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at denversports.com/camp. That's denversports.com/camp.
What is up, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here, and I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now driving down the street who are thinking about popping that question here soon to your special somebody. And if that is the case, then we all know you need a diamond. So let me save you some time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring, or celebrating a new milestone, or finally just doing something special for yourself, this is where it's all going to begin at Williams Jewelers. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you could imagine, and the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And here's the thing, guys, not only are they going to share the secrets of the business with you, but they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and, of course, the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Phillip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi there, I'm Kim Rudell, owner of Wills and Wellness Estate Planning. Springtime has arrived, and it's a great time to get your house in order. Whether you need to tidy up your current will and estate plan, or you need to put together a brand new plan, we're here to help. Get yourself organized with documents that are customized to you and your family to provide priceless peace of mind. Find us at willsandwellness.com or give us a call at 720-266-8190.
What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event? You don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
At some point, you stop calling it pain and start calling it just how I am now. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, shoulder, hips, and lower back. And now they're moving, sleeping, golfing, running without surgery or long recoveries. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. And now's the time, because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. So this isn't a I'll get around to it situation. Right now is the right time, and the first step doesn't cost you a thing. QC Kinetics, better starts here. Schedule your free consultation by calling 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986 with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs. It is QC Kinetics.
It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Chad, if Cale Makar coming back had the fans, it's John Davis and Chad Andrews sitting in for Zach and Phil today. If Makar had coming back made you say, okay, now I get a breather from all these injuries, I have some bad news. Nathan McKinnon, as we saw, did he take a puck to the knee? That's what it was, right? Because during the game, I missed it, and then they came back and it was a puck to the knee.
That's what it looked like to me. I was watching without the audio, but Dante, I don't know if you had a clear look at it or if you had audio on. I was just not able to watch with the sound last night.
Yeah, Yeah, from what I saw, everything it was a puck to the knee. But
on the broadcast, it looked like puck to the
Yeah.
knee. He kind of takes a knee almost to get down in a blocking position, and it just snipes right in there off like the outside of his knee, kind of. I've never played hockey, but from what everyone was saying on the broadcast and on Twitter and whatnot, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of padding on that part of a hockey player. So probably straight to like the outside of the knee, basically. Let's call it an 80-mile-per-hour puck right there. Doesn't feel great, I got to assume.
And that was in the second period, so they go to the third period. Nate didn't come out with the team initially. Then we saw him on the bench. McKinnon played a little bit, came off. Him and Bednar were talking, and on the broadcast they said, it sounded like Bednar said, well, can you play on the power play? We ended up seeing Nate on the power play. Probably shouldn't have been out there. I get 75% of Nathan McKinnon's better than almost everybody, but he didn't look like he was even 75%. Bednar had no update on that today. Met with the media in Las Vegas. Jared Bednar had no update. And there's another injury we'll get to, but, I mean, things when it rains, it pours. Can this Avalanche team find a way to win? We're not talking the series right now. We'll just say, can they find a way to win Game 4 if they have a Nathan McKinnon that can't play, or if he can play, he's incredibly compromised?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because they haven't found a way to win yet. And they had a full-strength McKinnon. And I know they had a limited Makar, but you still have a limited Makar or an unavailable Cale Makar. And now I don't know if you're going to have a Nichushkin because he went out in that game. And he is also day-to-day along with Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, there was no update on him either.
Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel we are looking for may very well be an oncoming train to finish the job when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights. But no, the news is not getting better. There's not more reason for optimism game by game saying, oh, well, it was just this or just that, or Cale was hurt, or Nate wasn't available to play, but now it's all going to be okay. There's no indication that it's all going to be okay. The Avs are 100% up against it in the every way you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, and it's, they had Nate out there on the power play. The power play that he came in was one of the worst-looking things, that power play shift. We know the Avalanche struggled with it all year, got better in the postseason, especially once Kadri came in. Their power play in the third period last night, it was one of the sloppiest things I've ever seen. It looked like the Knights had an extra player out there. So it's not just Nate the whole game. Those special teams where they're struggling kind of anyway looked pretty good against Minnesota, not so good against the Golden Knights. It's now going to affect everything in the game. So if Nathan McKinnon's not there, obviously you were playing bad with him. You weren't getting clean looks with him. It's hard to imagine a situation where suddenly you're better, but sometimes sports are just sports, and the Minnesota Timberwolves don't have Anthony Edwards and still find a way to beat the Denver Nuggets. Maybe if Nate can't play or he's compromised, somebody else has to step up. Maybe just the new line combinations are just different to where Vegas just kind of they're kind of caught off guard with how it works, and the Avalanche can steal one. But as you can see, given how it's looked and McKinnon being hurt, we're kind of grasping to find a way to believe that it can be done.
Yeah, anything's possible, right? The Kevin Garnett quote, anything is possible. It could happen. Mathematically, they're still alive. But, man, it just seems like they are up against something that is nearly insurmountable. But if the team that was built on paper plays to its potential, they should win. But I don't know that they have that team available to them. When you're talking about three of the heavyweights, McKinnon, Nichushkin from the last game, and whatever the state you're getting from Cale Makar, and who knows what other injuries are nagging other players or what they're dealing with.
Yeah, we know Malinsky, Lehkonen, Burns,
Let me ask you this. What would it take for that flame of hope to be ignited in you again? And I'm not talking about to win a game. I'm talking about for you to legitimately believe they could win the series. What would have to happen to get you back to that point?
They win the game and they don't look frustrated.
Just one game?
Well, they got to win. They got to win the next one, and that's kind of obviously you win 3 in a row, and then I'm really believing. But in order for me, because a win in game, it's not a win. A win in game 4 won't on its own convince me. It's how it looks. Do the Avalanche look like they believe they can win? Are they taking it to the Golden Knights? Are they dictating portions of the game? Are they not disappearing? I talked about that power play last night in the third period. Once the Golden Knights got it tied, the Avalanche had this demeanor of, we're screwed. There's nothing we can do. They looked like they were totally had no answers. It just looked like they had no answers to anything. We talked about it with the Broncos defense late in the year. Looked like the team had no answers, but everybody was still going at it. Hufanga didn't just start to look discouraged out there. They looked discouraged. So it's not just a win. It needs to be a win where the Golden Knights didn't have a lot of answers for the Avalanche. And that is a lot to ask for, considering it has not looked like that in any facet of the game. Even when the Avalanche were up 3-0, it was some breakaways, it was some defensive breakdowns from the Golden Knights. It's never looked like the Avalanche had control of anything in this series.
Okay, so let's say they win Game 4 and they win convincingly 4-1. They had an empty netter late, and they win 5-1.
Cool.
And they're in control the whole time. But then they're still down 3-1 in the series. But at that point, you have hope that they can win it. You're optimistic that it could happen.
Well, optimistic. I'm now sitting there going, all right, let's see what can happen. It opens up the door to, all right, I'm willing to see where this goes. Right now, the feeling is we got to watch another one of these. That's the feeling right now. I've seen that they have nothing for them. And that's what the frustrating part is. As a fan, the hardest thing to watch is when you can't get a stop. That's when it's just like you just can't get a stop when you need one. And going back to the Stars series last year, what's getting frustrating about this team now is I'm starting to be able to count on the other team scoring, which you should never be able to do in hockey. So much goes into a goal. I should never sit there and go, they're going to score. They're going to score and they're going to win it, and you're not going to score. And it completely comes true. And I think that's what's the hardest part about this team right now.
It's frustrating, man. It's going to take a lot more for me. I'll tell you that.
What does it take for you? In Game 4, what does it take for you? Is there anything that can?
No.
Okay.
No. To win the series?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, like, if you want me to like really buy in and start considering how they might win the series, it's going to be like they score the first goal in Game 6.
Okay.
Then it's going to be like, oh, okay. Now maybe, there's a glimmer of hope.
So two straight wins won't do it for you.
No.
Okay. Not even open the door. Not even all right, let's see what happens here.
No, because they would be going to Vegas for a Game 6.
Right. No, it's pretty hard to find a way that they win this, but you've got to take it a game at a time, because it's happened in all major sports. It's happened a total of 5 times.
4 of them in hockey, though.
4 of them in hockey, 1942, 1975, 2010, 2014. And in 2014, that team went on to win the Stanley Cup. That was the Los Angeles Kings. Never happened to basketball.
Okay, so 80% of the times that it's happened ever,
it's in hockey.
So the odds are in our favor,
yeah,
right?
Game 7. Avs got it. Game 7. The Broncos, the Nuggets, the Avalanche. We thought we were going to get a parade. It's looking like we're going to get 0. What did the style of plays of each team say about how we got there? Chad's going to tell me next.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause. Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown. On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit TrimFireRadio.com.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For many of us, it's happened before. Your hair is thinning, crowns disappearing. Maybe the hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. The solution that worked for me, it's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. And it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303 Law 4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get her to accept the lowball offer. That's where a lot of lawyers will try and get their clients to cave in, but not us. We said that's fine. We'll tell her story to a jury. Before we could even get up and walk out of the room, that case settled for $1.1 million. That cousin was very happy. The insurance companies work for their shareholders. At 303 Law 4040, we work for you. You don't have to feel guilty about asking for what's fair. We hope you never need us, but accidents do happen, so go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
Hey guys, your boy Stink here, and if you're over 50, there's a good chance you're dealing with an enlarged prostate. Waking up at night, weak stream, all of it. Here's the good news. PAE, prostate artery embolization, is minimally invasive, done through a tiny pinhole, and you're home the same day. Most men who have PAE don't experience any sexual side effects associated with conventional prostate surgery. At Colorado Advanced Endovascular, their experienced team offers specialized prostate treatment with near zero impact on sexual function. Lakewood location, personalized care. Visit coloradoae.com.
Whatever the forecast, aches and pains can cloud up a perfect day. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief, so you're ready for sunny skies ahead. Use as directed.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
John Davis and Chad Andrus sitting in for the fellas today. Chad, high hopes year in and year out for the Nuggets and Avalanche for probably back to 2019. The Broncos have recently entered that conversation, but 6 months ago, we're looking at the Broncos, we're looking at the Nuggets, we're looking at the Avalanche, and we're saying we got to get a parade out of one of these teams. You know, one between the three of them, somebody's got to get there. The Nuggets do what we've seen. You know, they find a way to just look bad in a series, let a team kind of take over on them. The Avalanche, we're seeing more of the same from them, which is they get into a series, a team seems to figure them out, and they have no answers. The Broncos still coming along, but things kind of falter down the stretch with them. The Rockies are the Rockies. But overall, we can go in whatever order you want. Why do these Colorado sports teams keep ending up in the same position year after year?
Yeah, barring a miracle, it's going to be 3 strikes and we're out on the parade side of things. So we'll start with the easiest one. It's the Rockies, right? And the Rockies have never had quality, dominant starting pitching and depth of pitching staff. And to win in baseball in the playoffs, you have to have pitching. And they've never done that, right? So there's the element of the altitude, the size of the outfield at Coors Field, but they've never really committed to pitching and got dominant pitchers to play here, whether that's developing them or being able to get them through free agency. So that one's pretty obvious, right? They tried to invest in Mike Hampton and Denny Nagel at one time. That was the biggest commitment they ever made to pitching. So it's pretty obvious with their organizational flaws and culture challenges why the Rockies have failed and are not built for playoff success. When you look at the other 3 teams, I think it's a legitimate culture and roster construction design that you have to ask of, do they need to build their teams differently in order to have playoff success? And I don't think we need to look much further than, you know, the sports identity of our city and our state is John Elway's Broncos. It always will be, at least for the next 40 or 50 years until that changes.
He's probably the most well-known person in the whole state historically.
Oh, yeah.
It's John Elway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was a gunslinging one-man show that could always carry a team so far until the defense rose to a level that could really impact games and stop people whenever they needed to get a stop, and he had a running game to support him. He couldn't win a championship. And we all know that career arc and that story and the way it ended for John. As great as he was, the greatest quarterback prospect of all time in terms of physical tools, could only get you so far. And it was just historically bad on championship stages for him until the other parts of the puzzle were in place. And I think when we start looking at our 3 teams that we believe to be championship contenders here this year, you can look at them in a couple of different ways. And the Kroenke teams with the Nuggets and the Avalanche have some very similar characteristics of free-flowing, just high-potency offense.
Similar to each other.
Yes, yeah. Similar to one another of – they play a very visually appealing style that has great success in the regular season, that fans love to watch, that I honestly think is the best way to watch hockey and basketball being played, where offense flows freely, everyone gets involved, and it's beautiful and it's exciting, and your fans can buy into it over the course of a long season. It keeps you engaged, and your team is fun.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, the faucet of offense continually seems to be turned off. This was only the second time the Avalanche, as successful as that franchise has been, that organization has been, and it's been very successful in terms of compared to other NHL franchises, this is still only the second time in 24 years that they've been in the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
The Nuggets have only won 1 championship in their history. When they did that, as painful as it is to admit, they had a relatively easy road and didn't play any 51 teams along the way.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that, but overall that's correct.
I mean,
it wasn't they weren't going through the Spurs and the Thunder.
Yes.
We'll put it like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
If we spend a full 4-hour show diagnosing, breaking down with it. I think I could still, tell you why they were going to win regardless of who they played that year. But generally speaking, they had a relatively easy path. Since then, the goalposts have moved dramatically in terms of where the league has gone and what contenders look like now compared to what their roster looks like. And it's very different in the postseason. And then when you come to the Broncos, I think you've got the team that is the closest to having a toughness and a grit about them and an adaptability to play what each game requires to win. But you still saw them in an AFC championship game need the ability to run the football in order to win that game, and they couldn't do it. And you can make the very strong, legitimate arguments that their quarterback that's a running threat and their top running back, who was effective for 10 weeks of the season, were not available, and that is a big reason why. So there's not a lot of style of play changes that need to happen there. But I think you can look at all three of them and say, do they need to reassess and reevaluate the style in which they play and maybe sacrifice what that looks like for excitement, entertainment value, and even wins over the course of long regular seasons if it is going to translate into more ways, more buttons to push to win playoff games or playoff series? I think it's a legitimate question to ask for all three of those teams.
I think that's a great. If I were to ask you to rank which team is in, there's more evidence that they are in need of a style of play overhaul. Which team stands out to you the most in need of that?
This is tough. I think it's between your Ball Arena tenants.
Yeah, I agree.
Between those two. And I'm probably going to lean towards the Avalanche when it comes to that, because I think they have a roster that is talented enough and capable enough of rightfully being the favorite to win the Stanley Cup when they came into the playoffs, and the results they're getting are not there. But I think up and down the roster, the depth, the talent, that is the one, because the Nuggets, one, I don't think the roster and the talent stacks up to where the league has shifted to what it requires to be a contender. But two, they're not going to shift away from Jokic as their fulcrum. Right. Like, they're still going to play offense through Jokic, and he will be an enabler for whatever they put around him. So there are things that will change, but will only change to some extent. I think the Avalanche have more of a blank canvas to adjust how they play.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Nuggets and Avalanche have exited the playoffs very similarly. However, the Nuggets did get the Thunder to 7, and there was an injury. And why that Aaron Gordon injury mattered so much is because the Thunder continuously have no answer for Aaron Gordon. He causes them problems. There was a game a few years ago where neither Jamal or Jokic played, and they still had no answer for how to stop Aaron Gordon. But I feel like the Nuggets rightfully recognized at the expiration of that series that was the end of that, and they moved on from MPJ. So the Nuggets have acknowledged there needs to be some sort of shift. They may have just got the pieces a little bit wrong, and maybe I liked Cam Johnson. There was some injuries there that might have disrupted that. The Nuggets season was weird because Peyton Watson emerged, yet the team didn't get better, and that should not have been the case. And then the injuries and everything. With the Avalanche, they kept kind of doubling down. It felt like with the Nuggets, Cam Johnson's a better defender than Michael Porter Jr., so they were acknowledging out loud some things. I think with the Avs, they felt just depth, just second line center, just depth. Yet no matter what they do, the style of play keeps running into the same roadblock.
Yeah, it keeps running into bigger teams that get very physical with them, and they really muck up the offense. And again, it's not about the number of shots on goal. Are those really true scoring chances? Because we're seeing over and over again in these games, yeah, it's a shot on goal, but it's right into the chest of the goaltender. It's not going in.
Late in the year, the Avs had a game against the Canucks, and anybody that's heard me on the radio, I bring this up a lot, where Makar was out, and the Canucks, who were a bad team, scored like 7 goals because it was wide open in front of the net. And it's kind of that thing. If guys are wide open, what are you going to do?
Yeah. What's fascinating to me on the Nuggets side of things and why it makes their puzzle so challenging to solve is they got a glimpse of what it looked like playing a different way when Jokic was out for a month. And they couldn't run everything through him and operate. And that was the time that Payton Watson really took the next step and developed and put himself in line for a huge payday. And it was a different style because Payton Watson could take people off the dribble and get in the paint and drive and create and draw fouls and work as more of a one-on-one player that leveraged his athleticism. And that's not the way the Nuggets operate offense when Jokic is in. And I think you run into elements of the Nuggets' three-point shooting and, Jamal Murray being effective in certain ways, that a lot of that exists because of what Jokic creates and what Jokic forces offensively. His gravity, but his passing, the spacing that is created by him. I don't want to call all of their players Jokic merchants, meaning that's the only way that they can be good, because I think Jamal Murray can be good in other scenarios. I think Cam Johnson was a proven NBA player and a great shooter before he came here. But they do benefit from Jokic in a way that Payton Watson was the breakout star that proved he can do it without being reliant on Jokic. And they need not only those type of players on the roster, but it's that physical archetype of Payton Watson, long, quick, lanky, a guy that can defend Kevin Durant, a guy that can have a chance defending against a Wemby because they have the length and the quickness, and they can do a lot of different things. And on the offensive end, they can handle the ball, create their own shot, and create for others. But that doesn't happen when they play through Jokic. So it's really interesting when you look at the Payton Watson element again, and it goes back to, does he want to be here? Does he want to be put into a role that puts him a definitive fourth or further down the line player when it comes to their offensive pecking order, when he proved that he's not reliant on Jokic to have success in that 1 month of the season? And the Nuggets, by the way, went 10-6 during that time. So it makes it a really hard puzzle to solve for the Nuggets. It makes it an interesting puzzle to solve for the Avalanche, because do you sacrifice all of your skill and speed to try to get bigger and tougher and maybe not get bullied as much? Are you willing to do that when you won the President's Trophy?
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is which of these teams needs to do it. We're going to keep this going, but you are listening to KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver, and KARS-FM Laramie. It's John Davis and Chad Andrus filling in for Zach and Phil. This is The Drive, presented by Regen RX. Chad, you make a really interesting point, and for anybody tuning in, we're talking about, looked like we could have one parade, two parades, three parades, Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche. Looks like we're going to get 0 parades.
We're looking like Family Feud striking out here, man. We got 3 X's on the board.
And we're talking about the style of play and how these teams get close, but then they fall apart. We're talking about the Nuggets and the Avalanche, who needs to change the style of play, because they're running into the same problem over and over again, to where the championship is appearing like the outlier and everything else is appearing like who they are. I really like the point about Payton Watson. They went 10-6 in that month where Jokic was out. Win at Boston, win at Philadelphia. They weren't garbage wins. You almost won in Cleveland. They were going in there and teams were kind of shocked. And the truth is, when Jokic came back, and I don't think he was 100%, the team never inspired confidence after that, when it should have been the opposite.
No, they were terrible when he came back.
They were terrible. They were turning the ball over. Memphis beat them. Memphis almost beat them, and then Memphis beat them. And Memphis was actively trying to not beat anybody. With the Avs, it's interesting. You sacrifice some of that just firepower that you have with, you obviously have McKinnon and McCarr, and you have Marty Necas, but then you have Lehkonen. You brought in Nicholas Waugh. You now have Nazem Kadri. You get stuff from Ross Colt. You get stuff from – it's all over the place with these guys. Do you give up some of that to maybe get somebody that can, contribute more when McCarr's not on the ice, where Brent Burns is currently at. And so that's interesting. The Nuggets, I feel like between the two teams, if they're going to change their style of play to get over this hump, and we're kind of assuming the Avalanche lose here, they lose this series. I think the Nuggets need what Zach Bye's been calling a gap year to make it happen. And part of that's how the sport currently does all those things. Of course, the Nuggets get good and suddenly they restrict everything in the NBA. Versus, I don't know if the Avalanche have to do that gap year. I think the Avalanche can probably make some moves this offseason, and next year they're ready to go.
And it's much easier to manipulate your roster in the NHL than it is in the NBA.
It's a bigger roster.
It's a bigger roster. There's more financial flexibility, and the rules are more conducive to it. Teams are more apt to trade and swap parts out. It's just easier to do. The NBA, it's a lot harder to do with the salary match, with the aprons, with the cap, the luxury tax. It makes it very, very challenging. But I think going forward in the NBA, you're going to see formulas for teams not have those huge contracts. They'll have one, right, and you're going to need one to be the anchor of your team, but you can't have two $50 million contracts and then other guys making 30 or 25. Like, you can't do that. If you're going to have two $50 million guys, everybody else is going to be pretty cheap on your roster.
You can't hand out Christian Brown's deal.
Right. I mean, when you look at the Nuggets roster, Jokic is 36% of their cap. Jamal is over 30% of their cap. So 2/3 of your available money goes to two players, but then you're paying out really another third, essentially, to Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson.
Right. It's top
So
heavy.
then you still have Christian Brown making $25 million. So you're already over. You're already in aprons. You're already pushing yourself into luxury taxes and repeater taxes. So you just can't have that many guys making that much money with what they're giving you in return. You can't have Christian Brown being 5 for 16 on layups in a playoff series.
Wow. Yeah. No. You can't have your lowest paid guy going 5 for 16 on layups, let alone a guy that you extended whose contract is yet to even kick in with Christian Brown there. So the Nuggets, to me, and I'm going to come back to the Avalanche because there's this one concern I have about the Avalanche implementing a style of play change. If I'm the Nuggets, my plan right now is Nikola gets extended. We do what we can to keep Payton Watson. Everything else is on the table. Everything else can maybe go. And that's troubling because it's a point I'm going to continually make, and I do think this is important. Carmelo left. They were a good team. They maybe were in need of a rehaul. He wanted out. Andre Iguodala comes here. They win more games than they do in the entire – he wants out. Dwayne Wade uses the Nuggets to get more money out of the Bulls, and he goes and plays bad there. Nobody wanted to be here in Denver with the Nuggets. After Carmelo and Chance, after that, nobody wanted – Paul George wouldn't sign an extension if they made a trade for him. They didn't want to be here. It was a joke. There was a bad reputation. Suddenly you get this guy in the second round. You make a great pick with Jamal. Jamal and Aaron Gordon want to play here. They want to be – and I hear people say, oh, of course you would for that amount of money. Paul George didn't want that money. Carmelo didn't want that money. Dwayne Wade, at the end of his career, didn't want that money. Iguodala left a team that if they don't lose Gallinari, who knows how far they go. Nobody wanted to play for the Denver Nuggets. Now, that can't be everything, but I do think it matters when talking about keeping a team together and going far. And that's what makes the potential of trading Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray so hard.
Yeah, and they're the only guys that have ever delivered a championship.
That too. Yeah,
I mean Aaron Gordon is Mr. Nugget. He is, I've said it over and over again, he is an elite human on all levels. I will never say a bad word about Aaron Gordon. The guy was partying in the streets of Denver with us.
In his uniform.
One of us. He lives in the heart of the city. He has embraced everything about it. He is just a wonderful person, an amazing athlete, a great player. He was completely selfless, went to Serbia to get to know Jokic better, work out with him in the summer, understand how to be the best player alongside of him, understanding his role. The guy has done everything you could ever ask for someone in this city, but we cannot trust his body to be healthy going forward.
And that's what it's a name, if you've listened to Chad and I bring up all the time. It's why the Patriots were successful for 20 years. Because Bill Belichick was stone cold about it. I mean, these guys would give everything to that organization, and Jamie Collins got sent to the Browns. He was just willing to do it, and a lot of those guys came back, and that's not going to happen here. But if you want to win a championship and you got to maximize, you have to make that decision. And make no mistake, if Jamal gets traded, you don't think he's coming here and putting 45 on him. I mean, he's got that. Well, and he'll do it. But
the other element of it, the whole thing is, we want to have the optimism of, okay, well, if you do this, it can work. There's no guarantee.
Exactly.
There's no guarantee it's as good as you have it right now. You might make it worse, but your only chance, your only roll of the dice that might give you an opportunity to up your level and be where the Spurs and the Thunder currently are, compete in the current landscape of the NBA and what it looks like going forward. That's your only shot. But again, that's a tough sell because the Cronkies and Calvin Booth said this is our best shot with Jokic to win more than one championship over a 5 or a 6 or a 7 year window is to go young. And Michael Malone said, "You're nuts. I'm not doing that." And they couldn't agree. So that plan that was considered to be the best way of going forward wasn't even adopted internally, much less by everyone else to buy in from a fan base standpoint. They couldn't even agree internally as to what gives us the best chance to win more than one championship.
And that's why they failed, because you do need to collaborate. And I don't think Malone was good at playing ball with implementing it, and I don't think Calvin Booth was willing to listen that maybe his perfect vision wasn't perfect. And that's why they're both out of here. And now Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray might have to pay the consequences of what those guys did. All that said, I understand they want to be here, but I've always felt it's a problem I had with certain things that happened with the Broncos years ago. You cannot ask for people's money, whether that be fans, and not make a decision that's best for the organization because you personally like somebody. You can't say, well, we're better off winning if we make this move, but God, we really like this guy. That was my concern with Michael Porter Jr., is that Josh Kroenke was so close to him that he would never leave because they liked him. Now, obviously, I was proven wrong.
It felt like that went on for 4 years too long.
Yeah, and so that's kind of with the Nuggets. I think they have a harder road, but they do need to change their style of play. We'll see if it happens. With the Avalanche, it's looking like they may have to change their style of play. It's tough to imagine they're going to become the 6th team in all of professional sports, to come back from 0-3. Makar, McKinnon, Nichushkin, they're hurt. Do the Avalanche talk themselves into, no, this is fine, we just got some bad injury luck? Or do you imagine they might be more realistic looking at it?
I think they'll be realistic looking at it. I think Chris McFarland's very aggressive. I think Joe Sakic understands how many times they've kind of gone through this. The difference is what makes it hard about the Avalanche in particular is because Sakic is ultimately in charge, regardless of what you think about Chris McFarland as GM and
yes.
Doing the negotiations. Joe Sakic is signing off on it, and Joe Sakic was a speed and skill player. So he is relating to McKinnon. He is relating to Makar. He's relating to the style of play. And again, the style of play is beautiful to watch. I wish everybody played hockey like the Avalanche play hockey. They're not capable of doing it. On paper, it should be what wins. And they were rightfully tabbed as the favorite to win the cup because of their skill and talent and speed. But it's being shut off. It is being completely cut off at the knees, and they don't have a way to counter it. So is someone like Sakic, who played that way, going to make that pivot? Right? It's the same thing we talk about with Sean Payton being a quarterback and wanting to throw the ball all the time. Like, is he going to make that adjustment when it's not the way he wants to play?
That's a great point. I think there's a couple things with Sakic there. I think the defensive depth on his teams was a lot better when he won the Cup. Ozelinch, Lefebvre, Gusarov. I think Makar's clearly better. And later on, Ray Bork. Clearly, Makar's a better individual player. Also, back then, what was hard, the way you could stack rosters back in the late 90s and 2000s in the NHL. I mean, you look at the stars, Modano and Brett Hull, and then the Red Wings, they got the Russian five, Larionov, Fetisov, Konstantinov, Kozlov, Fedorov. Then they go get Chris Chelios and Brendan Shanahan. They got Osgood and net. The Avalanche, Theo Fleury one year, Ray Bork, Rob Blake. I mean, I feel bad for fans that missed that Stars, Avs, Red Wings every year because
the Devils had the East all to themselves. Yeah, it was like four teams that were incredible, and then everybody else was like, "Oh, well,
we'll just hang out. We'll just hang out." Yeah, Yager's good, but he's not on any of these teams. They had Scott Stevens and those teams were incredible. So hopefully Sakic recognizes different day, different time, because the Nichushkin thing, the Landeskog thing, they were able to convince themselves the style of play wasn't the problem. And so hopefully now they've pretty much seen those excuses run dry. And if they do end up ultimately losing this series, which it's hard to imagine they don't, maybe Sakic realizes better goaltending. Once we get Landeskog back, once Val's back, we need to, they're just done. Maybe he finally pivots there. They've been shown they're willing to wheel and deal to make it happen. They're willing to be aggressive. So hopefully maybe we see a change because something does have to change because it is it's Groundhog Day.
Well, and again, the easiest button to push on that is if you still believe in the players and the talent, because the talent is there on paper, the easiest button to push is let's just change a coach that plays a different style and gets a different response out of the players you have.
Joe Sakic won 2 Stanley Cups, 2 different head coaches, with Crawford and Bob Hartley later on. So that's something, too. If Sakic does look back into his history, there was 2 different head coaches there. So you do wonder if he's looking at Bednar. And that's kind of something I don't know about Joe Sakic. Is it – he's not like Calvin Booth, but is it the whole, I gave you everything. This is perfect. Or does he look at it and go, I didn't give you this is all good. I just didn't give you the right mix of players. And I think that's an interesting plot point, if you will, with the Avs this offseason is really, and McFarland too, but how does he view, did I give you all the ingredients and you made a bad meal, or did I not give you the right ingredients? With the teams in the style of play, we're talking about how there was no parade. We're thinking the Avalanche lose. What do the Nuggets have to do? There's a lot that has to go on there. Even if they lose Peyton Watson, they need some Peyton Watsons on that team. The Avalanche maybe give up some of that speed. The Broncos, I feel, are set up the best. And the reason is they build in the trenches. They build in the spot on their team, as you and I talked about. You put it great in our pregames. They're going to win the snap almost all the time. And if you can be tough on the offensive and defensive lines, you'll be in the game in the fourth quarter. And it's not like the Chiefs where you win late because the ball hits the backup quarterback and you get a weird doink and a guy doesn't get his feet in bounds. No, you're actually winning the game late in it. That's why I think the Broncos need the least amount of overhaul, because where they continually put their emphasis.
And they focus on what is going to win the game this week. And again, that is more of an NFL thing. It's different in hockey and basketball. You have to plan for an 82-game regular season, which is ridiculous. Football, it is a week-to-week league in the NFL. But it took a month of the season to recognize that, and it's why I picked the Broncos going into Philly in that game last year, which looked like a really bad pick for 3 quarters, but they managed to win.
You were the only one that picked them.
I was the only one that picked them to win, but from that point forward, it's when the winning streak started. And they rolled off week after week after week, and it was when I started saying on the offensive line and on the defensive line, they're going to win more snaps than they lose every week against everybody they play. and that's going to give you a chance to be in the game. And they've proven that regardless of what you think about Bo Nix and his development and where he is, he's proven that he's a competitor and he's a gamer. And if you've got a chance in the fourth quarter, he's going to be up for taking that risk or making that play to give you an opportunity to win. And, that's what you need in the NFL. Put yourself in position to have a chance in the fourth quarter every week. And by building through the trenches, the Broncos do that. You may not like watching the games. We may have spent, a dozen Sundays last season, a dozen Mondays coming in and going, well, they won again, I guess. And you weren't real happy and you didn't feel great watching the game. But the goal is to win the championship. And they were closer than the other two teams.
And it felt closer, too. It felt that they were closer. With the Broncos, we seem to buy into the injury excuse a little bit more than we are on these other teams. And one reason you mentioned Bo. Bo's best quality is he doesn't create a disaster for his team. He may not create the game-breaking play all the time, but he's not screwing his teammates over. And when he did, it was the Titans game, and who cares? The defense did all of that. But Bo, in the second round, in his second playoff game that he's ever played, went against the guy that beat him the previous year, and he outplayed him. He outplayed Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the league in a lot of people's minds. Bo Nix, who doesn't do all these things, he's still, some people had him ranked 20th best quarterback. He outplayed him. The third quarter was a little sketchy. People like to leave that out. But in that Bills game, Bo Nix made some really smart plays. He got in the Bills' head late on a broken ankle. He threw that ball that got the pass interference. He was running around his pass to Marvin Mims, maybe the best pass we've seen out of Bo Nix. We don't see that out of these other two teams. We don't see the team rally the way they do together or behind one guy. And it can be a different guy, but the Broncos, and it's probably because of how they're constructed, they know we execute in these spots, and each week Hufanga or McMillan or Mims or somebody's going to step up when we need them to. It just does not happen with the Nuggets and the Avalanche.
I think there's a key point here in looking at that particular clutch time element in the Broncos saying, we know we can do it and we will make a play because we trust that we're going to be put in position and we just have to go execute it. I think it's different when you look at the Nuggets because as a whole, you've got 13 guys going, well, Jokic and Jamal will do it.
Right.
Not we will do it. Jokic will do it.
Get it to big man.
Yeah. Jokic will make it happen. And, by nature, some of that is the sport and the way it's designed, and that is a lot of the NBA playoffs, but it's still not a collective, we will prevail in the clutch. It's no, Jokic will do it.
Well, and look what we saw from the Timberwolves. It was a we. The Timberwolves very much had that, no, we'll do it, we'll get them. And it didn't work out for them against the Spurs, but they still carried that.
Yeah, and it's very, very different, right? And, hockey's a whole nother animal. The Avalanche seem to be great when things are going great and they're front running. They don't seem to have that, we will win at all costs no matter what. It doesn't matter against the best teams. In the regular season, they show it over and over and over again. They may be playing a lackluster game through 2.5 periods. Suddenly, the last 10 minutes, it's like, well, what just happened? It was a literal avalanche on another team, and you saw that over and over again.
Every game.
They've done that repeatedly where they would rally late and dominate teams at the end of games, and maybe that was a little bit more of, we will do it. We will flip that switch, but that switch is not available when you're playing teams the quality you run into in the playoffs.
It feels like at times in the postseason, because you mentioned the Avalanche were just, out of here this year, but the teams walk away from the Nuggets and Avalanche going, oh, okay, we can beat those guys. They're not so tough. It feels like teams walked away from the Broncos going, that's not what we expected. That hurt. We'd probably rather not see that team again.
It was almost the message of 2 years ago with Kansas City, where you could hear from the Chiefs players acknowledging, even if they beat them, it was like, yeah, but we know, like, you gotta earn that win. You're gonna have to fight to win, and it could go either way when we're playing that team. Not we know what they are. We're good.
Yeah,
we feel good. No one's gonna feel good going up against, again, like you say, blocking Zach Allen every week.
Yeah,
no one feels good looking forward to that.
Right, and it's kind of the last thing I'll say. It's something you and I have said. It never mattered if the Broncos thought they could beat the Chiefs. It mattered, did the Chiefs think the Broncos could beat the Chiefs? And right now, do the Golden Knights think the Avalanche can beat them?
I don't think they do.
And
I don't think they feel them at all.
And I think that's
and Minnesota didn't feel the Nuggets.
No, and that's the issue, is they don't think you can do it. And they're to the point to where they'll lean into a microphone and say they'll do it, or say that's how they feel. So the Avalanche down 0-3. Do we believe anything can happen to where the Avalanche come back and take this series? Chad and I get into that next.
The season's hanging by a thread. The Avalanche blew a 3-0 lead in Vegas, dropped Game 3 in heartbreaking fashion, and now trailed the series 3-0. To make matters worse, Nathan McKinnon left with an injury, leaving Colorado searching for answers and facing elimination. Can the Avs pull off the impossible, or is this the beginning of the end? Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
What if you had the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event? You don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account. Plus, you pay 0 penalties on the transfer. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SECURE to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SECURE to the number 989898.
Denver Deck Builders is the #1 deck builder in Colorado. With me is the owner, Ron Gibbous. What is the advantage in building a new deck or replacing the old one?
If you were to spend $50,000 on a deck, probably increases the home value by $25,000 to $35,000. You will get some of it back when you sell the home. But do you want to use it to spend time outside with your family, with your friends, building memories and building relationships?
Start dreaming about your outdoor living space. Denver Deck Builders. Go to ddbonthefan.com.
AutoNation Ford announces employee pricing for all. For a limited time at AutoNation, you pay what we pay for brand new Fords. F-150s and Explorers, employee priced. Broncos and Mustangs, employee priced. Even Mavericks and Rangers, employee priced. Don't miss your chance to drive the Ford you want at the price you need. The employee price. Hurry to your nearest AutoNation Ford. Less stress, more go. Price excludes tax, tag, title. Optional equipment not included. Some model exclusions. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Zach here. Are you seeing cracks in your home's drywall or foundation? Call Homestrong. Their highly qualified technicians provide free inspections and quotes. With 20-plus years experience in the foundation repair and concrete industry, one thing is certain. You'll never go wrong with Homestrong.
This Memorial Day, the best price of the summer is here at Elitch Gardens. Buy 2 season passes and get each for just $69.99. That's $15 off per pass. Enjoy unlimited thrills, splash all summer in the water park. And come back for unforgettable events like dazzling drone shows, kids' favorites like Blippi and Mika, dive-in movies, festivals, and more. Don't miss your chance to lock in the best value of the season. Get your passes now at elitchgardens.com.
Introducing Mine to Shine, the world's most personal diamond. Here's Shayna and Dylan Williams.
Come experience the most revolutionary and transparent way to buy a diamond.
Mine to Shine by Kwiat and Williams Jewelers. The natural diamonds cut, polished, and designed just for you.
First, we'll help you select a natural, conflict-free, and ethically mined diamond.
Then you select one of Kwiat's legendary shapes. Kwiat Cushion, Oval, Radiant, Emerald, or Incredible Ashoka.
A wider, brighter, and larger-looking diamond, cut to the world's highest standards.
Then trace the journey from rough stone to polished perfection by Kwiat's master cutters.
Perfectly cut for maximum brilliance. Simply brilliant.
Mine to Shine, the world's most personal diamond.
Only from Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, Colorado's exclusive Kwiat jeweler.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
The official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche. Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Are you in the market for a new air conditioner? Well, hold on. You need to think about a heat pump. My team at ROX are Colorado's heat pump experts and rebate specialists. Get up to $12,000 in energy rebates and credits. These savings are incredible, but they're only available for a limited time. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Over his Hall of Fame career, Terrell Davis racked up impressive numbers. 65 touchdowns, 2 championships, almost 8,000 rushing.
That's why I bank at Colorado Credit Union.
That's a weird segue.
Colorado Credit Union treats me like a person, not a number.
With personal service, great rates, and smart financial advice.
And those are just 3 great perks.
We can stop with the numbers now.
You don't have to be a legend to bank like one at Colorado Credit Union. Visit ccu.org. Terms and restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
This is a good drop. This is Fat Joe and the Terror Squad lean back. Fat Joe was on ESPN just now giving his top 5 Knicks of all time. He had Stephon Marbury in there. So anyways, we will now cover Fat Joe's top 5 New York Knicks of all. No, we're not going to do that. Chad, 03. Shocking, stunning. Any belief whatsoever in the Avalanche to come back and win this series?
I'm not buying it right now. I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen the Avalanche be and do what made them the dominant President's Trophy winning force, the team that had the largest differential, right, in terms of goals versus goals allowed in the NHL. I just don't see it. Vegas looks unfazed. They look unfazed by this team. They look like they think they can push them around and bully them. They look ultimately confident. Even last night, down 3-0 early, they did not blink for 1 second.
No, they came out in the second and scored immediately. Immediately. And the energy from that goal was that of, we got this.
Yeah, they look completely unfazed. And it's one thing for the Avalanche to not be themselves or to be out of sync or off their game by an opponent creating that. But it's another thing when the opponent just doesn't feel you at all. And it doesn't feel like Vegas is influenced in any way, shape, or form. Like they're going to go out and do whatever they feel like doing. Like they are completely dictating each game and dictating the series. And the Avalanche are the team that is always being forced to respond to that. And that makes it a very tough sell for me to believe that they're going to win not just once, but 4 straight games.
Dante, any belief? We'll ask you this, Dante. What would you need to see from the Avalanche in what game's next? 4?
Game 4.
In game 4 to believe that they could pull off what would essentially be a miracle, something that rarely never happens, and win the series?
Well, to me, it starts with the defensive end, and we've seen it all series. The Vegas Golden Knights in their post-game press conferences, they have this one word that they keep using when describing their style of play out there, and it's patient. And that's what you have to do against this Avalanche team. They are so high-flying, but they are going to get themselves into some trouble sometimes because they're going to be a little too eager on the offensive end there and have some lapse defensively. So, and on those cases, the Vegas Golden Knights have really capitalized in those moments. So to me, it starts on the defensive end. They need to become a defensive-first team and then have these scoring opportunities come second, or else they just have no chance. So I'm giving them a little bit of a chance here. It starts with winning one game, obviously, but I think they are still the better team in this series. They just need to go out and have that, again, defensive-first mindset, and if they need to win a hockey game 2-1, that's what it needs to be. It's not always going to be this high-flying offense that we saw in the second round of the playoffs. And honestly, I think it's a little ironic that after the first round of the playoffs against the Kings, everyone's like, oh, well, the Avalanche, they can play any style of hockey now. They can play the slow version, then they can play the high.
I was one of those idiots.
I was too. I was
Yeah.
too. And then you think back on it, it's like, you know what? They only really did it in one series against the 8 seed. And all of a sudden we're crowning them of like, oh, no, this team can go out there and win a slugfest against other teams. Let's see what they do against better competition. And against better competition in Vegas, it has not turned out as good for them. Obviously, they can go play that high-paced, high-scoring offense. We've seen that throughout the last decade of Avalanche hockey. We saw that in the second round against the Minnesota Wild there. But yeah, to me, gotta lock in. Starts defensively. Go win a ball game 1-0, 2-1.
Chad, you talked about that earlier. It's got to start with the defensive end.
Yeah, and Dante said something there that I like to point out every time I hear it, because we often confuse better and more talented, and I think they're two different things. And Dante, you just said it, right? You said you think the Avs are still the better team, and when I hear that, like, I translate that into I think they have a more talented roster. I think they have. That's
probably a more appropriate way of saying what
they have more skill. They're clearly not better, right? They're not a better team. And I think of this in, like, if we put it in college football terms, and we put teams that recruit a bunch of 4- and 5-star players, and they've got speed and talent and guys that are on NFL draft boards all over the place, but they're really uncoordinated. They're really undisciplined. They blow assignments defensively, and they lose to
Air Force,
right? They lose to Georgia Tech, the team that runs the ball, the team that doesn't miss any of their assignments, right? So they're clearly more talented physically. They have better athletes, but they're not a better team.
Yeah.
And, like, college football is just, I think, the example we see it play out the most often.
I think baseball, too. I think professional baseball, you'll see a roster full of talent, but some other team plays, they're just better. They're a better team.
Or they just have that pitcher.
Yeah.
Or they just have that pitcher, right? Or that pitching staff, right? That can win a series. More talented doesn't mean better. And, this examples of this run rampant in the NBA, right? I often accuse the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn experiment, because they are very much of the mindset, the way they grew up learning the game of basketball and playing AAU, they equate talent to being better. And you see what they've won when they haven't been paired with Steph Curry or LeBron James. They are clearly two of the most talented players that have ever played. They have more skill and talent than almost anyone that's ever played the game, but it doesn't mean they're better, and their teams are better. But that's what they equate it to, because that's how AAU basketball works. You load talent and you win, but it doesn't make you a better team. And I agree in Dante's assessment that the Avalanche have a more talented roster, but in the series, I don't think there's any way you can say they're better.
Just because these examples, anytime you can pull examples is fun, and we're rolling here. The Lakers had nothing for the Pistons in 2004.
Yeah, Shaq and Kobe.
They had Shaq and Kobe, and the Pistons, just led by Chauncey, Rasheed Wallace, Ben, they embarrassed them. And that was a team that, remember, they added Gary Payton and Karl Malone in addition to everything they had, the Pistons. And that's the thing with this Avalanche series. If you were to rank the top 5 players in the series, they have 1 and 2, right, with Nate and Kale.
They have 1 and 2 in any matchup against anyone other than Edmonton.
Right. They're going to have
and
that.
Arguably in that too.
So with that, I think I agree with both of you, though. If they're going to win this series, it's going to be defense. And you're going to have to find a way to get those 2 goals. Dante said 2-1. You're going to have to hold them to 2 or less goals on here on out. That goes to a point you made earlier, Chad. Whether it's Wedgwood or Blackwood, somebody's got to stand on their head, and then everybody else has to get in front of the net. And then between your 35 goal scorers, somebody's got to figure out a way to put it in the net. And they're going to have to do that 4 straight games.
Yeah, and 30 or 35 or 36 shots on goal doesn't necessarily mean that you've got the 5 quality chances that you need to put 4 in the net.
Yeah, and so the Avalanche, it would be in a city that has had so many great playoff championship moments, this would be the most unbelievable of all of them if they're able to do it.
As long as they go on and win the Cup.
As long as they go on and win the Cup. So everybody is mad at Jared Bednar today. If you get online, our text line, everybody's mad at Jared Bednar. Is it fair right now for fans to want Jared Bednar no longer as the Avalanche head coach? We'll get into that next.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
How about 60 seconds that'll make you actually feel good for a change? Hey, Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. You've heard me talk about the best free meal in Denver. And I had some listeners that had heard me talk about how I used to love to make brisket, but with outrageous beef prices, we just couldn't afford to do it anymore. We can't afford to feed that many people. Well, a guy, Barbecue Bob, showed up to one of our first and third Thursdays with a couple $1,000s of brisket so he could just help people. We're going to make free brisket here coming up in the next couple months for our best free meal in Denver. And then another guy, Fred, who runs the Ace Hardwares over on Gartrell Road and Arapahoe Crossing. He said, from now on, all your fuel you need for that barbecue is on me. And another guy, Bobby Hancock from IHOP. He fed our volunteers and gave thousands of dollars worth of gift certificates to our people that take advantage of the best free meal in Denver. If you want to help, you can. Just spread the word. It's the best free meal in Denver every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. And if you have any questions, just call us at 303 Law 4040.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
In the last week of July, you'll find the superstars of rodeo at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Grab your hat, pull on your boots, and join in the Cowboys' favorite rodeo. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the wildest ride in the West.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry buys, sells, and services pre-owned Rolex, Cartier, and all luxury Swiss watches. So if you're looking to make a change in your watch collection or just looking to sell, come to Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry, located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
So what makes Champ Honda different? It's simple. One price, one person, 1 hour, meaning clear, upfront, and fair pricing. There are no games, no guesswork, and you work with a single client advisor from start to finish. No runaround, there's no back and forth, and 1 hour so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time doing what you love. Plus, at Champ Honda, they never charge dealer handling fees. None. It's a better way to buy a car, and once you experience it, you'll wonder why every dealership doesn't do it this way.
Hey, it's Glenn.
And Tiffany.
Here with Denver Roof Pros. Denver Roof Pros is celebrating our 10th anniversary, serving the Front Range from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs.
Yes, we are. And there is so much more to Denver Roof Pros. We're not just roofs and gutters. Check out our family of services at DenverRoofPros.com.
No matter if it hails, rains, or snows, nobody knows your roof like the Denver Roof Pros. Hey!
When you decide to sell your home, don't settle for a good agent. Go for a great one. Go for a Weichert agent. A Weichert agent looks at you as a partner, not a transaction, and will work day and night to get you the results you're looking for. And your Weichert agent is backed by the Weichert brand. With over 50 years of experience, Weichert agents have guided thousands of buyers and sellers through every facet of home ownership. Don't settle for good, go for great. Work with a Weichert agent. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The playoffs bring out the teams that are built to last through pressure, intensity, and long nights on the ice. When you're bidding an electrical project, you don't want a regular season performer. You want a team with a 40-year winning record. That's Piper Electric. From commercial construction to EV charging, fire alarms, power distribution, and preventative maintenance, their electricians are safety-driven, highly skilled, and ready for complex environments. So when your project goes out for bids, choose the team built for the playoffs. Visit piperelectric.com.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Avalanche down 0-3. It's been John Davis and Chad Andrus filling in for the guys today. It's been a fun one. Dante Gomez behind the glass. As always, last segment we had got into whether sometimes people say this is the better team when what they actually mean is this is the more talented team. We were coming up with some good examples of teams that were ultra talented, more talented than other teams, but not better. Dante, you had another example of this.
Yeah, I had a couple. It's the same sport here, same era as well. But does this Avalanche team kind of remind you of the 2000s Peyton Manning Colts teams a little bit?
I was thinking that earlier. That's
where
funny.
it's like, wow, you have Reggie Wayne. Wow, you have Marvin Harrison. Wow, you got Brandon Stokely all going for 1,000 yards. But when it comes to the playoffs and you have to go up against the big bad Patriots, they're just a little bit tougher than you. They're just a little bit grittier, and it's one of those where toughness and grittiness get it done in the playoffs. Another team I was going to compare it to were the Phillip Rivers San Diego Chargers teams, where it's like, yeah, you had all-stars everywhere, but in the playoffs it just doesn't necessarily translate.
Yeah, oddly enough, that Chargers team beat the Peyton Manning Colts one year as well. But no, I think those are both great examples of this is high flying. Every year, the Chargers is great. At the beginning of the year, everybody would say, this is the best roster in the NFL. And they kept Norv Turner the whole time. But no, those are really good examples. And the Avalanche are kind of looking at that right now. And with that, you look at the talent of the roster, Chad. It's a talented roster. Doesn't mean it's the best team. Is it fair that everybody's looking at Jared Bednar is the reason this team's not working? Or could it be great players, bad roster construction, good roster construction, they're being coached right, it's the players? Is this kind of blame should be spread around, or is it fair that Bednar's catching all the heat right now?
Players always win and lose the games. I don't ever want to get get confused on that. It is the Jimmies and the Joes. It's the players that are responsible. But when you look at this series in particular and what happened with Vegas with such a late season coaching change, how come their guys that weren't performing up to the level they thought the roster was all season suddenly can perform and execute at a high level?
What a
good
point.
The other element is, look, it's unfair, but it's a lot easier to change the coaches than it is to change the players. And it's hard to give up on talent, especially when skill is so hard to come by in the NHL with this kind of speed, this kind of, stick handling, everything the Avalanche have across the board, up and down every line. It is so hard to amass a roster this skilled that you don't want to dismantle it. You want to give it every opportunity. So what is the easiest button to push? The easiest button to push is eject on the head coach. And whether that's fair to Jared Bednar or not, it's not for me to say. It's just an easier way to try to maximize what you've built in the other areas because the roster is a lot harder to build and reshape.
Right. It's the easiest. We saw it with John Fox, with Gary Kubiak. It's the easiest to say, hey, these players are all good. You're the guy in charge. It's continually, it's continually not working here. And I think that's where, because with the Avalanche, what I'm struggling with now is they almost can't run it back because this was the run it back. Now, you added Kadri and you added Nicholas Waugh, but you got embarrassed last year. You choked last year. The Broncos lost in 96, Super Bowl the next 2 years. Ravens in 2012. They lose it, but they're in the Super Bowl the next year. We've seen the bounce back. We've seen what it looks like in Denver. Well, last year was your 96 Jags. Last year was your 2012 Ravens. This is your back in the Super Bowl year, and you're about to lose to the Jags and the Ravens again. So at that point, whether it's the roster, whether it's the coach, something has to change because this continually leads to being upset by teams less talented but that play better.
Right, and you can also tie it back to the Nuggets of they ran it back after their championship, and you saw what happened, and you see what happens when you continue to do it. You're moving further and further and further away from the goal. So are you going to nip it in the bud and try to maximize the roster you have, or are you going to let it go on too long where Josh Kroenke admittedly thought he went Malone and Booth go on too long?
Yeah, I mean, he fired them with, 3 games?
3 games left
in the season, and it provided a quote-unquote spark. But the Nuggets, they weren't the Golden Knights, but if Gordon doesn't get hurt, maybe Adelman pulls the Golden Knights upset here and beats the Thunder. I mean, that was very much in the realm of possibility of happening last year with the Nuggets. AG just got hurt. So the Golden Knights are kind of getting now. Their head coach and David Adelman are not similar people.
Not quite.
At all. But overall,
I don't think there's anyone similar to Torts.
No. Not just in sports, just
period.
General.
Anywhere. Anywhere.
There's nobody similar to him. But with this, with the Avalanche, if they lose this series, which it's anybody that says right now they're going to win it in 7 is just saying it so they can victory lap it when something crazy happens.
Because nobody's going to remember when they don't.
Yeah, and with that right now, we could be looking are we looking maybe at the best Colorado, the biggest squandering of a championship opportunity we've seen? That's not to decide now, but they really do enter that conversation because the 96 Broncos, boy, they couldn't get Brunell off the field. There was a gap there. The 2012 team they blew it. the coaching really blew it in that game. But this could be, you wonder how you get over this after you really choke bad 2 years in a row.
Yeah, overwhelming favorite.
Yeah, this was the Thunder. Imagine if the Thunder, not the Spurs, if the Thunder lost to Minnesota, as good as Minnesota is,
and got swept
by Minnesota. And Minnesota's good. Obviously, the Nuggets know that. They're super talented. They're just not the Thunder. If the Thunder went in there and swept them, what the conversation around Shea and that OKC team would be.
Yeah, if they would have lost to the Lakers in the first round
without
Luka.
Yeah, to LBJ and all of that. So, Chad, It was a lot of fun. You made it back from Universal Studios this morning to sit with us. Dante Gomez, always fun. Phil and Zach, they'll be back tomorrow.
Avalanche, Golden Knights. It's the Western Conference Final, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is all in. 1 hour before puck drop, we're live with full pregame coverage, keys to the game, bold predictions, and the intel you need. When the final horn sounds, we're not going anywhere.